Well. Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 133. No music right now. What the heck? Sorry, I started a little bit late today just because, as in, I started the stream and now we are already past 13 minutes before I've shown my face. That's a little bit later, a little bit longer than I usually am. I'm trying to figure out my music player stopped working. So I use Apple Music, or basically I download all this music from the sound platforms that I have access to, and then I put it through, Apple iTunes. But then I use something called Cider, which apparently syncs to the Apple account, takes all the music, and then that's what allows me when I play music, it shows up as an overlay somewhere here. But for some reason, it won't play, or Cider has broken down for me. What the heck? So give me a second as I try to figure this out. It wouldn't be a Yobel Prize stream without some kind of technical difficulties, right? Am I right? But sometimes I just have to start and restart or whatever. Close and restart it. Hopefully it'll work. Anyways, thank you guys for being here. Oh, I forgot to clear the chat the other day. Skull Bazaar, thank you for being here. My fellow Twitch and Kick viewer, thank you so much. Yeah, you are keeping the Kick stream alive. So thank you and one other person. So thank you very much. Fed is here. Fed says howdy, and the Mao Wow. What a name. The Mao Wow says, yo, that is half of my name, Mao. It's like me calling you Mao instead of Mao Wow. What's happened in Mao Wow? Thanks for saying hi over on YouTube. And then we got Fed asking about apple cider. Oh, yeah, it's like cider. Yeah, Cider. I didn't hear about it until I was doing this research when I was first trying to figure out how do I get the music player, the overlay, to show up. And there's a Nutty video, the streamer, YouTuber Nutty GG or something, Nutty something, funny guy. He had recommended it, but now the freaking cider thing is not working. And I think it's something to do with, I mean, listen, as if I know what it has something to do with. Now, there is a solution. I can just play straight from the Apple Music instead of using the cider thing. So if I play music from Apple Music, then we have no issues because that's just pulling from my computer. But I don't think it'll show up as an overlay. So you win some, you lose some. Let me go ahead and hit shuffle here and see what happens. Okay, you guys should be able to hear that, although it is probably a little too loud. So let me adjust the volume on this guy. 1 second. Something like this, maybe? Okay. I'm just going to guess somewhere around here should be doable for the stream. And let me just close Cider for now. Good riddance to you. Thanks for not working. What the heck? All right. Thank you guys for being patient with me as I do my typical troubleshooting stuff. But yeah, welcome guys to the 133rd live stream. Unfortunately, we can never say 133 days in a row. There was a time that we could say that. The first 46 days of my live streaming journey was non-stop. I know this now because as I'm going back, I'm reviewing all the older streams that I've had because I'm trying to put together a YouTube video where I'm going to explain a lot of my learnings, the journey of multi-streaming across YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. You know, hopefully there'll be some insights and tips and things to not do, stuff like that I can share in a YouTube video. But yeah, it's just going to be, it'll be another video that I pop onto the channel that you guys can enjoy. So as part of that research, I've been looking into what did I do? What were some of the patterns? And it was kind of crazy that we went 46 days in a row without ever missing a day. Streamed on average, I think it was about 7 hours per stream. And yeah, and then the only reason I stopped was because I had a film project that I had to travel to. So obviously that took me out of the game for at least, I think, 1 to 2 weeks. And then after that, I started to shift a bit of my strategy. So Anyways, Malin 3 Lamps says, bro, that was a long intro. Where are the grandkids to help with the tech? Yeah. You know what? I think my intro is probably the right duration. As in, when it plays from start to finish, it's roughly around 3.5 minutes long. So that gives just enough time that you don't feel like it loops too often, right? And the hope is that I should be ready to actually get on camera within like the first 5 minutes. Usually it ends up being more like 10, but that's just a me problem more than anything else. But yeah, my goal is trying to be better at like just once you see that, you should see me fairly soon. But I also don't actually view it as a negative, because I imagine having that kind of a starting soon video play, one, it's a good advertisement for who I am. It's like, it's basically my brand in 3.5 minutes, right? So you can see me traveling, the things that I travel for, the things that I capture, all of that. So if anything, it's a good video to hopefully, if someone watches it and doesn't know anything about me, they'll get a good idea. And then two, I figure when I'm starting the stream, it's a nice way to trickle in people, you know, whoever you are, whether you're a new streamer, or sorry, new viewer, or someone who just happens to see my thumbnail pop open. I figure it's a nice way as like a waiting room to get people ready before I get started. So I haven't felt like a big urgency to be like, you know what, once I hit this stream button on OBS, I need to be ready after 3 minutes. I don't think it's that necessary as of now. So anyway, sorry, I'm over explaining a little bit here. Thank you though for being here, Malin, the Mao, Fed, Skull Bazaar. It is cool kind of just to have people here chilling with me as we start off the day. But we're gonna get some shit done. All right, today is a get shit done day. So I've got what do I have? I don't have Lightroom open. Let me open up Lightroom just to get it ready. I got DaVinci open. I've got all these browsers opened up. We're ready. We're gonna get cracking. But to Malin's point, where are the grandkids to help with the tech? It's just me, man, and ChatGPT. So, you know, ChatGPT. Okay, not ChatGPT in particular, but AI has been at the height of all the news cycles for the longest time, and you're seeing it in like every facet of society. And then I think I just saw recently, it was blowing up in my social media about one of the largest companies in the US, Square, or they used to be called Square, now it's like Block. They're laying off, I think, 40%, 40 to almost like 40% of their workforce. And there's a big controversy, or there's a big argument online of like, is it truly because of AI, or was it just like, you know, the company had kind of overly bloated itself during the COVID years, and now this is just their way to course correct. I don't know. It's an interesting conversation with like very potentially devastating ramifications, right? Devastating to some, I guess. Maybe opportunity, you know, what do they say? Everything's a blessing, or it's like, or a blessing. But generally speaking, I imagine as AI just continues to be better and better, the scalability of it does mean that a lot of people will be impacted by being outperformed by AI. So anyways, why am I bringing this up? I have no idea, actually. It's just topic of the day. It's been on my mind, and I've been filming a few things, and I've also, even in the live stream, the script that I'm putting together and the storyboard for this live stream YouTube video, where I'll just break down my first 46 days of streaming. As I'm thinking through the story for it, the AI narrative is, even here, it's a bit pervasive, because not that I got into live streaming because of AI, right? But every little thing kind of feeds into your thought process and your decision-making skills, or whatever you end up doing in life. And one of those things have also been like with the advent of technology, the changes in content creation with social media. I have this feeling, or I've had this feeling, that being a content creator, especially if you're in the art space, like whether you're like an illustrator, artist, photographer, filmmaker, whatever it is, you feel like your space, your platform is getting squeezed tighter and tighter, right? Because the algorithm's changing, what people demand from you are changing. They want, 10-second clips of your art now, as opposed to, these beautiful images or whatever else, longer form content. So it's like this kind of feeling of pressure in every direction as a content creator. You're like being compressed into like the boiling pot, right? and there's nowhere for it to go. Just the number of creators doesn't match the number of opportunities and the demand from viewers wanting a certain type of content. So anyways, not to say that, anyways, where am I going with this? Let me pause and just read. Fed says unlearn to code. Yeah, oh my God, what a crazy world. Because I saw someone say something about like the irony is, especially now with like, you know, potentially, we don't know, right? But let's say if a lot of jobs get just completely displaced and replaced by AI, the irony is like now is a time for you to get better at coding and learning how to adapt to it. Yo, hello Yami, Yami underscore Akuma VT. As always, you are my #1 supporter, honestly, because you consistently support me with these raids. How epic are these raids? Thank you very much, Yami. I was watching your stream earlier. I was lurking quite a long time, by the way. Your voice is also very soothing. So in case you don't hear that enough, yeah, you're a wonderful streamer. But thank you very much for the raid. Wow, it's a nice way to start off the stream. Let me just quickly catch up here then. Rachel, hello, thanks for being here. You said, what's good? Not much. We're just starting the stream. I had a few technical difficulties, but here we are. We soldier on. But shout out to Yami. Everyone should follow her if you are on Twitch, even if you're not on Twitch, you know, or if you aren't a Twitch viewer per se, but if you have an account, feel free to search Yami's name and give her a follow as well. Excellent creator. Absurdity. I feel weird saying your name. I have to double check to see if I misread your name or if I just have a dirty mind. I guess it could be both. Absurdity, thank you very much for being here as well, coming in from the Yami raid. Malin says, Claude made me hopeless. Why did I even learn discrete math? I'm in my 2nd year in college and feel like I'm wasting my time outside of taking photos for our college paper. Well, listen, Malone. Well, I'm going to call you Malone for now. Listen, I feel your pain. You know, this is a question that everyone's going through. It feels very existential. Like I said, I just filmed an episode where I talk a little bit about AI in my world, but then also trying to figure out how do you adapt to a world where you're going to be replaced, where your value in life, especially when you're young, if you're in college, you ascribe a lot of value to what you contribute to society, right? So you take on that first job, the internship, whatever it is, and you put so much of your worth in life based on your output in a company, in a 9-to-5. And I think it is very, it's very toxic. It's very detrimental to your confidence and the kind of the things that you should kind of strive for in life. But it is a reality of life at the same time. So I'm happy to have those conversations. We're going to chat about that here. Why not? As we kind of warm up the stream. Let me quickly catch up because Yami, again, thank you for the epic raid. We got some people over here from your stream saying hi. So Volponi, and we got Aurora again. Thank you for being back. Hello. Volponi says hands up. This is a raid. All right. Well, I guess, you know, you got me. Oh, and then hello. Let's invite my cats over. Are they both here? They're both here. So also, let me just give a quick introduction to who I am as a streamer and also who I am as a creator, I guess. I am a wildlife and travel photographer and videographer. So I've now shifted in the past 3 years towards videography, cinematography, filmmaking, as well as YouTube. So now I'm calling myself a YouTuber as well. So I will always appreciate your support if you follow me on YouTube, Twitch, and I'm also on Kick as well. But YouTube is my main name of the game, I guess, of what I'm trying to build out. So I've been streaming for the past 7 months now and mostly doing the most exciting thing you would expect from a streamer, which is editing photos and videos. But who knew, right? It was an uphill battle for sure, but it's been really fun seeing that there's a real community out there of like artists, art enjoyers, photographers, everyone, you know, like in that kind of realm. So thank you guys for the support. I will make sure to provide it back to you guys as well. Absurdity says, Yami has a great voice for sure. Yes, exactly. Yami says, no worries all. And thank you so much. I lost it. Okay. I try not to yell too much, but sometimes I do. I don't think I've ever heard you yell on your streams, but nothing wrong with that. Assertitity says sorry. Are you really sorry? I don't think you are. If you were sorry, you wouldn't have named that as your username. So it is what it is. I will keep saying it. until I get some kind of flagged thing. Yami says, hello, did you learn nothing from our Lord and Savior, Vash the Stampede that preaches love and peace? Yo, Vash, I know that name. Is that from the Trigun? Vash the Stampede. Is the show called Trigun Stampede? I think we had this conversation before, but I remember watching that. There's like that anime. It was on Crunchyroll, and I saw it was really fun to watch. And I think someone said it was based on an older... I don't know. I don't know my anime well enough, but I did like that show. Trigun something. Volpone says, hands up, this is love and peace. Oh, I'll do that. I'll definitely raise my hands for that. Obviously, also thank you for the sub. Very much appreciated. It was the least I can do. And yeah, so thank you. The thanks is returned. Silver Grains, hello. It's good to see you in the chat. You said, I think there will be a volume of slop that society will take until they start to overvalue authenticity again. I agree on that. There is going to be like a course correction. That's why in some ways, and I apologize. I rescind my apology. Why am I saying sorry? I'm not sorry, but I understand, Malone, your situation being still in college and obviously your whole life's ahead of you, which is the positive. But then the negative is like you're basically in your feels, right? You're still maturing. You're still trying to figure out how to be a human in this world. And the world is getting more chaotic with technology and everything else. So I don't envy you, but I am now in a place in life where I feel more confident in who I am. I've kind of gone through the gamut. I've gone through the ringer of like everything. So I feel a bit like I'm in a different place to feel not as concerned about AI and feeling like I have more of an ability to ride the wave of AI into whatever the next iteration will be. And hoping that there will be a course correction. It's kind of like a pendulum. So when you think of like this pendulum, here we are maybe on one end of that pendulum extreme where it's like we're getting all of this kind of buildup of AI and the hype around it. And some of it's real, some of it's fake, but there's still real impacts in the world based on all of this. And at some point you would imagine the pendulum's going to kind of shift over to the other side. And the other side of things, I assume, will be people resisting or feeling displaced, both real and maybe philosophically. And then I think there will be more of a desire to search for the authentic creators out there. So especially in the social media content space. So this is why I advocate, even if you're uncomfortable doing it, try to put yourself in front of the camera, try to share more of the behind the scenes. If you're an artist, like an illustrator, sketcher, or what, I don't know the right terms. If you're a photographer, don't always just lean on sharing the photo itself, because now AI kind of almost makes that art form harder to stand out, right? Because of the slop, as we say. So it's harder for AI to replicate you though, your personality, how you speak, what you say, all of your slurs, I don't mean that in like, cursing it out, but like the tics that you have, the stutters, the awkwardness, that's harder for AI to replicate. So the more of that you share online or as art, there's this concept I'm fleshing this out as we speak, but you're basically turning you into the art, right? So you become the art form as opposed to you producing the art outside of you. So the more you can share of yourself in a way that makes sense or is not like too crazy, that might help protect you against this crazy wave of AI dominating every industry. So anyways, I'm spewing a bunch of nonsense. Let me keep reading the chat. I apologize, guys. I missed a few things here. Absurdity. Oh my God, your name is the most absurd thing. Absurdity says, oh my God, cat camp, so vibey. Yeah, let me switch over to one of them. Let me switch over to here. Let me catch up on the chat as we pet. This is Nala over here. So Nala is my older of two cats, the sister to Kimbap over here, who is the younger brother. Different angles, cat cam. This is huge. Yes, it's major. It's bigly. Okay. This is why you should follow me, is for the cat cams. Aurora says, I have a great question for today. How many pictures do you have of your own cats? How many pictures do you do of them in a month when staying at home? This is where you're going to realize I'm very negligent as a cat owner, because I have very few cat photos these days. Since I've like switched over, yeah, I don't have enough cat photos to warrant being a proper cat owner. Because I do know every cat owner is supposed to have like an infinite number of photos of their cats. Let's see, what's the latest photo I took of my cat? Oh, but then I hate Apple has like a shitty... Every time Apple doesn't update to their iOS for the... how to look for your photos. It's so terrible. Oh, here we go. I did find a... Okay, so I did have a photo recently on the 19th of Feb. So there you go. The last time I took a photo of my cat was over a week ago. Let me see if I can show you guys. All right. Let's see if it'll work. Let me cover my eyes. The problem is it's a bit too bright, isn't it? Hold on. Let's drop it down. There you go. There's my lovely Kimbap doing his little pose. So February, what'd I say? February 17th? That's the last time I took a photo of my cats. Take it for what it is. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Absurditity says, if I haven't gotten you flagged, you won't need... Yeah, okay, thank you. I'm assuming so, yeah. Yami says, yes, Trigun Stampede and now Trigun Stargaze. That sounds cool. Okay, let me add that to the list of things I need to watch. You know what you guys need to watch? Oh, let me switch over to my cats in the meantime. You know what show you guys need to watch? It's freaking A Knight of Seven Kingdoms. Based on the book, The Hedge Knight, or whatever. I forget the real title. By George R.R. Martin. As much as we were ripping on George R.R. Martin for how slow he is to finish his own first initial amazing series, his epic, I'm so glad he's part of this project because it is so good. The filming for it, I'm like mentally taking a lot of notes for when I make my own film someday. Trigun Stargaze. Okay, Trigun Stargaze. I'll try to watch that later. And then I've just finished watching Fargo, the TV show. Amazing. Yami says it's based on the 1998 anime that was just called Trigun. Gotcha. BC in the chat saying good morning. Hello, BC. Thank you for being here. Oof. And, you win some, you lose some. But thank you for trying. Fed says if you keep saying sorry, we will assume you're a Canadian. Okay, I'll do my best. Sorry for doing that. Silver Grain says, I didn't start filming because of AI, but a lot of people think that. But I do think about it and how it speaks handmade versus something slick and crisp. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm remembering now some of our conversations before Silver Grains in terms of you being in the film world, the film side of things. But yeah, listen, AI, it is such a... I feel many different ways about it because I see how much of my own personal growth has been due to AI, right? And I feel that confidently because I know my limitations, and some of them are personal, like these are limitations I've set on myself versus reality, let's say. But either way, I've had these limitations, boundaries within which I live my life and what I think I can do. And then once AI came in the form of like ChatGPT and these more like conversational tools, it allowed me to then view these boundaries and kind of like it became dotted lines, right? So it became more porous, and then eventually it expanded where not only did I view myself more than what was in the initial boundaries, but then AI became like this ability for me to start doing things that I never would have been able to do on my own. I would have had to hire another person, multiple people to be able to get me knowledgeable and to even try a bunch of things. So for that reason, I'm like super grateful because I've seen how it's evolved me as a creator, as a person, all that kind of stuff. But it also comes with so many different, maybe unrealized losses that will hit at various points. It's like maybe you're so addicted to the short-term gains that you don't realize the long-term impact it's going to have on your health, your mind, to society, and all that kind of stuff. So it's like I don't discount that. It's just one of those things where there's only so much I can control as an individual in the society. And it's not a good enough excuse to not, you shouldn't have your head in the sand type thing, right? In terms of like if there are things in the world that you could have a strong stance on and you choose not to, I can also see the argument where, you should stick to principle, stand on principle, whatever it is. But as of now, it's just like such a moving, such an amalgamous and like moving target of like what its impact is, that what AI is today may be completely different from what it is tomorrow, and it's completely different from what it was a few days ago or whatever. And so it just becomes hard to have these strong opinions on things that might fluctuate beyond our current thinking of it. I don't know if any of that made sense, but let me keep reading here. Yami says, best catos, ha ha ha. Yes, catos, not catus. I fell for that last time. Look at her over there. Let me do the claw machine. Should be pretty easy. Trying to see if the shadow will help me. Is it here? No. All right, 3, 2, 1, drop. Oh, I missed. Well, she did dodge it, so. Like a boss, you have to watch Trigun Stampede first, otherwise Trigun Stargaze makes no sense. I watched the first season of Trigun Stampede, unless it's a movie, you're saying? I saw whatever, it was on Crunchyroll like several years ago. But I forgot a lot of it. As much as I'd like to stay and yap more, I got to dip. Oh yeah, of course. Thank you again, Yami. Thanks. I appreciate your continued support. Hopefully you had a wonderful stream. At least the parts I was catching up on or watching. You're doing a fantastic job playing a new game. Every time I go to your stream, you're multi-talented. You're doing all kinds of things. I think that's why you're an excellent streamer. Have a good time. Enjoy your dinner. And thank you again for the raid and for the lurk. Silver says, I don't blanket hate it. It will change society, no doubt, but I worry about the impacts and, again, the value of authentic content. And that, like I said, that's why I'm not worried about the authentic content. If anything, I'm more excited. Like, I feel more excited, not just when it comes to being, I think that there will be more, what do you call it? There's going to be a lot more value placed on the human content. I truly do believe that, because there's only so much AI slop or like so many 5-second, 10-second AI generated videos that one can watch before at some point it becomes like, there's a phrase for this, but it becomes, the one that's coming to mind is like hoisted by your own petard, but that's not exactly what I'm trying to say. But the point is, it's going to fall into its own, it's going to fall prey to its own success, essentially, right? It's like AI slop and the concept of AI in artistic worlds and content in general, like multimedia content. It's kind of benefited and exploited this psychological thing with all of us, where we were really getting these dopamine rushes with those 5-second, 10-second type clips, right? And so it really hit on something, especially after TikTok and COVID and all that kind of stuff. So that's where it became so successful, right? Where we shifted into this kind of like, give me things now, immediately. But at some point, when you've got almost like an infinite amount of these options of AI slop that can do anything, you know what? It's kind of like, I'm going to use the same analogy I've used before when I talked about visiting India, like traveling to India. When I talked about traveling to India, I compared it to going to Cheesecake Factory, where you look at the menu and it's got like 1,000 items on the menu and it becomes so overwhelming. You're just like, why am I even here? What do I even order? Is this really a Cheesecake Factory? Or it looks like it's got a McDonald's and it's like an Italian restaurant plus a Chinese restaurant and a Korean restaurant plus Indian restaurant. Like, it's got every cuisine in the world imaginable inside of a Cheesecake Factory. What the heck? That name is so misleading. So you get so lost in how overwhelming it is. I'm assuming the same thing will eventually happen with like at mass, where most people will finally just get kind of sick and tired of having too much content, too much of anything that's possible being shown to you in the same kind of way, that you will eventually have people who just be like, you know what, I'm bored of the same thing. I want imperfection, right? AI eventually is going to get to the point where things are so perfect, whatever you want at your fingertips. So then it's going to be like, I'm bored of perfect. I want the authentic, the imperfect stuff. I want the person who doesn't speak every word clearly or enunciates or maybe has flaws in his character, like whatever that might be. And I think that will become a bit more addicting. And this is all not for that reason alone, but that is one of the reasons where I feel like I'm doing the right thing. Testing being a live streamer, for the past 7 months, because it's not something that I think is only for Gen Z or Gen Alpha, or if you're a video gamer or something like that. I think like this technology is something that all artists should consider as a tool also to share more of who you are, right? And make yourself the art. That's kind of like the thing. All right, I'm just doing a little preachy stuff. Aurora says stuff like TikTok already shortened the attention span of the younger generation. AI might also take away their motivation overall to learn certain stuff. I'm not sure about humans' future IQ wise. I did see, and this is also really bad because I often go by headlines, and that's not a good way to go through life and gain knowledge. But I did see a headline recently, just the other day, that was showing how, especially for children, but if you give them like short form content, like that kind of 5-second, 10-second kind of TikTok stuff, it was showing that there's like an actual drop in IQ, or there's like a drop in like cognitive function, let's say. So it is something to be concerned about for each generation, as we're kind of like leaning into that space a bit more. So it was like basically advocating that you shouldn't give phones and tablets to young children in like their formative years, I guess. So yeah, who knows? Rachel says, that's where I'm at right now. Where were you at right now? Did I miss one of your messages? Let me see. I'm so bored of content nowadays. Give me an hour-long shot of the same person in one room talking about something unedited for over an hour. Yo, you've come to the right place then. Because if there's one thing I've learned is milking one thing for yesterday or 2 days ago, we were watching like 7-minute video. And I think I took 1 hour to go through a 7-minute video. So, welcome to the stream. Katzenellenbogen, which means a cat's elbow, if I remember correctly. Katzenellenbogen says, good day. Thank you very much for being here. Thanks for saying hi. And thanks for being the elbow of a cat. Let's go to one of my cats now. Where's my cat's elbow? Can I bother her and try to find it? Nala, where's your elbow? Elbows are only... wait, do cats have elbows? And if so, do they have 4 elbows? Does the hind legs count to having elbows? Or would you call them knees? But then... okay, you know what? This is like... I'm not high enough to have this conversation. Let me go back to the chat. Silver says, I stream to keep myself honest. If I have something to develop on Monday, I'll have content for the week. It's a great motivator to make work. Okay, I think that's a good reason to do it. Reminds me of the quote, says, Katzenellenbogen says, reminds you of the quote, stop exhausting yourself trying to prove refinement. Stop exhausting yourself trying to prove refinement. That's an interesting one. I'll tell you my quotes, and I'm making some YouTube videos on it. One of them is, expect anything, enjoy everything. I've said this on stream before. It's something I tell all my wildlife photographer clients when they join me on trips. And it's almost like a mindset shift for me. So I'll make a video on this for my Behind the Lens series, which you guys should all check out on my YouTube channel. But basically, expect anything, enjoy everything. It's very catchy. It's a nice little mantra. The other one that I always tend to say on my YouTube channel, this is more like my life motto, which is to aim to share the best of the world with the rest of the world through my lens. And then another one I've been saying more recently is just being comfortable being uncomfortable. So these are like kind of 3 things that are maybe key mindsets or mentalities that I keep in my mind for most of my endeavors, most of my day-to-day, just how to go from one day to the next. It's usually off of those types of principles. But yeah, like I think, oh my God, there is a really good, I'm going to add this to my YouTube video. Do you guys know the Olympic athlete Eileen Gu? Eileen Gu? Hold on, I was just looking this up. Hold on, let's find it. Katzenellenbogen says, oh, sorry. They have 4 knees, no? Or do they have 4 elbows? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I guess you would call them they're more like legs than they are arms. Is that true too? Are the front, oh, because you say they have 4 legs. You wouldn't say they have 4 arms. So they do have 4 knees. Could you say a cat has because you say a cat has a paw, which then makes you think of a hand. But maybe that's just me putting that interpretation. When I think of paw, I'm kind of thinking of a hand, but then obviously they have legs, so it's more of a foot. So their paw is more like a foot. Oh my God, what am I even talking about right now? This doesn't feel real. So no elbows, 4 knees. You know what? I accept. We'll go with the 4 knees. Cats have legs. Yes, yes, I know. Listen, my brain no work, no good. Fed says monkeys have 4 arms. Man, yeah, these are, I'm not, I need to find my local dealer and start puffing away to have this conversation. I wanted to look up something, right? Let's see. First things first, I think I need to restart this thing. There we go. Okay, there was a quote. Oh, there was something I watched recently from Eileen Gu. Eileen Gu interview. Think before you speak. This was like, honestly, who knows? You know, sometimes people spew a lot of words like I do, and you don't know if it actually is intellectual or not. And that's my, I have that feeling about myself all the time. Like, is what I'm saying actually insightful, or is it the most common sense or nonsense to say? With that aside, I saw this viral clip come out recently of this Olympic athlete, Eileen Gu. I don't know much about her. I think she was born in the States. She's competing for China. I think that's as much as I know. But she's like a well-decorated athlete. But there's a couple clips of her that went viral. And one of them was where the interviewer asked her, do you think before you speak? And usually when you hear that, you usually view it as like a, you're about to why are you shitting on me? Like, what the hell? That feels so offensive to say that, to ask if I think before I speak. But the way she said it was actually a very insightful question, and definitely not meant to be a dig. But then I thought Eileen's response was also very, very good. And it kind of reaffirmed a few things for me, but it also made me realize I didn't think of it that way. And these are always nice moments. But the way she talks about training the mind, the way that she trains her body, right? Obviously, she's a world-class athlete. You're able to push your body beyond its limits. But why would you stop there? Why wouldn't you try to push your mind in the same way that you push the body beyond the limitations that you've set up on it, right? So anyways, let's watch this. Katzenellenbogen says, I don't think their hinds are the same as their forelimbs. I don't know. I'm in a world now where it's like, I need to talk to a vet, okay? I'm just making up a bunch of random stuff here. Aurora says, I Googled it. Guess they are like us, after all. Felines have an elbow-like hinge joint on each front limb and a condylar knee-like joint on each back limb. This means that a cat has 2 elbows and 2 knees. Oh my God. If there's one thing I'm learning about myself, is to never doubt myself. I'm always right. How dare you make me question my belief that cats have 2 elbows? I knew that. I totally knew that. How dare you make me deny reality in this way? Actually, that is kind of shocking. I didn't know. Do they actually say cats have 2 elbows? That's funny. Next cat fact for your cheetah video. Yes, we're gonna add some. We're already at 2. Yes, yes. Okay, let's watch this video. All right, enough chitter chatter. Let me pause this music. Okay. Hopefully, I'm not gonna get copyright struck. This is like a news art. It's a news thing, right? Olympic star Eileen Gu gives fascinating answer when asked, "Do you think before you speak?" All right, here we go.
Thank you, Charlotte. That's very kind.
Do you think before you speak? Because you answer questions so quickly and so comprehensively.
Olympic freestyle skiing star Eileen Gu is all sick. One of the most people wonder.
Come on. Just give me the actual conversation. Give me the real conversation. Maybe this one?
Do you think before you speak? Because you answer questions so quickly and so comprehensively, whether it's about geopolitics or your sport or aerodynamics. Like, can you take us into your brain?
Thank you, Charlotte. That's very kind. Oh, man. Do I think? I think overall, I'm just a pensive person. Like, I'm an introspective young woman. Like, I spend a lot of time in my head, and it's not a bad place to be. I journal a lot. I break down all of my thought processes. I think I apply a very analytical lens to my own thinking, and I kind of modify it because it's so interesting. You can control what you think. Like, you can control how you think, and therefore you can control who you are. And especially as a young person, like, I'm 22, so with neuroplasticity on my side, I can literally become exactly who I want to be. How cool is that? Like, how empowering is that, right? And so the fact is, I get to become every day the kind of person that me at age 8 would revere. Like, I would be obsessed with me today. Are you kidding? I would love me. And I think that's the biggest flex of all time, that you can have, like, little younger you be proud of you today. And so I guess for me, it's like, yes, I spend a lot of time in my own head. Yes, I think a lot, but it's not really like in an egotistical kind of way. It's in like a tinkering, like a scientist kind of way. I'm always like trying to modify. I'm trying to think, how can I be better? How can I approach my own brain the way that I approach my craft of free skiing, so that I can be better?
Think before.
I think that's like such an excellent answer. Like, so, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure what to say about it besides like, one, very impressed with also her ability to speak so clearly. Without stuttering, without needing any pauses. Like, it's just like she knows exactly how to articulate her words in a way that I'm like so jealous. And she's only 22. I'm like, God dang. You know, it took me so long for me to even have the confidence to speak in front of people. Like, it took years of corporate training essentially, and like being in corporate environments and having little bits and pieces of opportunities where I have to do presentations, where I have to stretch myself to develop skills. So it took years of kind of like, what's the word? Coaching and slow development for me to at least get to a point where I feel confident that I can give a presentation, that I can be in front of an audience and like, you know, say something confidently, with a lot more to still to go, right? And here she is at freaking 22 when her whole life is basically dedicated to being the world's best at a physical sport that requires like, you know, every waking hour of your day. And somehow she's also still training her mind in this way to like be this eloquent. I'm like, God dang, so jealous. But like, I say jealous, but I don't really mean jealous, but I mean like, I feel inspired. Okay. So there we go. Eileen Gu. What a impressive 22-year-old. Katanellen Boggin says, I think it's PR training, meaning, I mean, she is representing China, where one mistake can be fatal. But she's also Mrs. Stanford. I didn't know that about her. I mean, she clearly is super smart. So, I don't think. What do you mean by where one mistake can be fatal? I'd highly doubt that China would ever do something to that extent with her. But I get what you're saying. I guess maybe there's a bit of extra pressure of what you can or cannot say. I'm assuming she has a lot of corporate or a lot of media training for sure. Fed says young person being young. Yes. But I wish when I was at that age, I wish I had people like her telling me these things and telling me how much I could change my reality instead of being told what my reality should be, right? Like the stereotypical Asian upbringing, right? Where you grow up, you know, it's like it changes generation to generation, but my generation was very much so, you know, my parents moved to the US. I was born in the US, but as like, I don't know if you call it first generation, but as part of that, they made it very clear that it's like, you need to assimilate into society. You have to become successful because we sacrifice so much for you. So you need to now return the favor. And you also have to prove to other Americans, like, people who came before, that you are also American, that you are contributing to society, that you are of value because you're so different, right? You look very different, you speak different, all of that. So that's like the pressure you have, or like I had, I guess, is like that you have to be a doctor, a lawyer, you have to be this successful businessman. And those are like the only pathways provided for you, or like sports. Cause I grew up with, because my dad was also an Olympic wrestler. So I grew up with sports my whole life as well. But it was always like one of these, like, you got these paths and that's it. And you have to train to get there. And that's like, there's nothing else. So like hearing someone like her, I'm like, man, hopefully there are more voices like her that are encouraging when you're young, when you are, still able to change your reality or like change your destiny, if you will. I think it's fantastic. The best content is probably the one you enjoy the most, says King. Yeah. My taste in content is the best. So I if you say it that way, I also agree. My goodness. Like I said, the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, that show is, I just binged all of it, or I got one more episode to go. So good. I have so many notes from that show of like, if I make my story, if I make my own TV show, these are the things I need to adhere to. Like the way that it can have humorous moments baked into like very serious and depressing moments, and like the way they draw it out throughout the episodes. Anyways, I'm going on another tangent. Fed says some are more outgoing than others, personality differences. Yes. Katzenell and Boggin says, I'm being hyperbolic, of course, but Google says she's doing physics at Stanford. I don't put a lot of, I don't put a lot of weight on the Stanford part of it, because if you are an Olympic athlete and if you're above average, intellect, you're going to get into Stanford, right? So it's one of those like, but she is Asian, so that is so to be Asian and get accepted into Stanford. Oh my God, that's a feat beyond a feat, because we all know the stacks. It's stacked against us Asians, and I think the courts proved it out recently. Oh, I went to a good university. Don't get me wrong, but it was like it was not easy being Asian in my generation. Okay, I will say. But yeah, obviously she's very smart. You can see just the way she speaks. Like you can't fake it, right? And I think people who are very articulate, it does speak to a level of intellect that is hard to fake. Like, there's a bit of like that correlation that comes with everything, right? But I do feel like someone who can speak very well, like she does, at such a young age, speaks wonders to me that this is someone I can imagine can do most things in life in a very above average way. Whereas you can have someone who, gets like a perfect SAT score and is like a math wizard or whatever, but I don't necessarily think that they're socially intellectual enough or that they could survive in any circumstance or whatever. I feel like you can put someone like her in like any circumstance and feel confident that either she'll bullshit her way through or like, I don't know, she'll survive, But yeah. Why were we talking about this? I don't remember, but probably something about AI and something about changing reality. I think those are the key things. So like I said, even for me, I hated being in front of the camera. I never viewed myself as someone who can speak really well. That was one of my biggest insecurities throughout college. I would like to believe I'm fairly self-aware. I think that I am above average when it comes to my self-awareness and how people perceive me in whatever environments. And King asks, Jobel, are you winning yet? Man, we win every day. Every day we're alive. That's another notch on the belt on the dub side. Okay. But yeah, like back when I was back in university and even outside of college, I was very, very insecure about my ability to speak, because I think in childhood, I don't know, I went through like spurts of like, okay, we're not going to fully dissect myself on this stream, but once I hit university and then post-university, I had so much to say. I was always talking, all right? I was the professional yapper, and I was very aware of the fact that when I'm with my friends, I would overspeak. I would ramble. I would talk and talk where people are bored. It's like, when is this guy going to stop talking? But I couldn't help myself. It's one of those like, and it wasn't me interrupting people. It was just more like if we're having a conversation, I would just keep speaking and speaking. And the person I'm speaking to, a friend of mine or whatever, they just would be too nice to tell me to shut the F up, right? They would just be like, oh, okay. Man, my mind's wandering. Why is he still yapping in my ear? So anyways, that was like the thing I was very aware of, but I didn't know how to turn off. So it just became like a part of my identity of like, well, I'm a rambler. This is who I am. Everyone's going to have this opinion of me when we're having a conversation, that this guy will just talk about nothing and just like, yeah. And then even in corporate world, sometimes I would get that as feedback of like, I need to be more succinct with my words, right? I just have to be more straight to the point, stuff like that. And so it's just like, at some point I accepted that as reality, but in the latter half of my 20s and then now in my early 30s, it's become this thing of like question everything, push everything about myself, don't accept the boundaries and the labels that are placed on me, to the point where, like I said, now I'm much more comfortable. I haven't mastered it, but I'm way more comfortable talking, like literally to a camera. That was I didn't think I could ever do that. Starting the YouTube channel was a huge step in that direction of like, okay, I'm not behind the lens anymore with the camera. I'm actually pointing it over at me to speak. And that was like super awkward, but a necessary step in the evolution of being a content creator in the 21st century, or, you know, even in the age of AI, I think it's even more important. So yeah. And then, yeah, the live streaming in general, it's like, my goodness. I think my generation, millennials, we view live streaming and think of it as like this childish endeavor. You think of it as like, oh, this is the thing the young kids do for entertainment. You know, this is like they go here to play video games and whatever else. So it's like, that's the kind of mentality. Whereas I feel like we should view it as an enabler to kind of improve your craft, right? And share more of who you are. So yes. So even right now I'm rambling, but here's the thing. While I haven't cured my rambling nature, nor do I think I necessarily want to fully, I do need to learn how to be succinct at key points in life, you know? But at least I found an avenue. I found live streaming, this platform, which is a perfect avenue for ramblers, yappers, whatever, to just like spew out a bunch of nonsense, because no one's going to tell you to stop. And even if 5 people hear me and go like, I can't listen to this guy, maybe the 6th person will stay on, right? There's enough people in the world that hopefully you'll find an audience of people who enjoy the monotonous conversations I spew out. So boom. Anyways, all of that aside, we were supposed to do some work today. It is now 8. It is now 8 p.m. Have I been yapping for? I guess I've been yapping for over an hour without doing work. So this is probably a good time for me to then switch gears. I was thinking of doing some photo editing and watching some videos, but I'm also behind. I'm also a little bit behind on my video edits. So what should we do? First, let me see. There were 2 videos that I opened up as potential videos for me to watch. One is called How to Plan Your Content. How to Plan Your Content, and it says steal this.
Do you ever sit down to
Take it, steal it, make yours. So I might want to watch this. It's 10 minutes, maybe just the beginning portion of it, just to get the general sense of this video, and then I can always finish it later. And then the second video is from this guy that I really like watching, or I don't consume enough content from creators, but I had seen him on Instagram before. He was recommended to me, and he had a really nice style of doing these talking head videos on Instagram. So he's called That Icelandic Guy, and he does a lot of tutorials. He does a lot of sharing knowledge. So he has a video he just released called I Took 42,713 Photos in 2025. These are the best. And the reason I bookmarked this is because, one, I'm trying to constantly come up with good ideas, or not even come up with, but I need to copy good ideas of content that I should be posting on my own YouTube channel. So this was like one of those where, oh, I could do something similar, right? Where if it's just like as I watch this, maybe I'll get a sense of like, okay, he's just showing off some of the best shots from his time of traveling and whatever in 2025, and then having a bit of like talking with it. Okay, cool. Let me replicate that. So that's part of why I've bookmarked it. Let me just watch this one for a little bit first.
plan your content and just feel? Do you ever sit down to plan your content and just feel stuck? Like, what should I post? What format? What topic? Every week feels like starting from scratch. Yeah, I was doing the same for months, constantly experimenting, never really building momentum. It was annoying and exhausting all at the same time. So at the start of this year, I tried something a little bit different. Instead of posting whatever, whenever I felt like it, I gave myself a format. 3 content types, 1 per week, same pattern, on repeat. And in 2 weeks, I got more growth than the previous 3 months combined. Let me show you exactly what I'm doing so you can use it. Know everything, who in the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying. All right, so quick context. For the longest time, I was just posting whatever felt right in the moment.
I like the structure of it. So he starts with the problem and with like a little bit of a I guess, the solution. He's got a nice little intro of himself, and then he gets into it. By the way, I think this is similar to, I guess, my approach or the things that I've been slowly trying to do. That's why I'm doing this like behind the lens concept, where my goal is to just every week post something repetitively, consistently, predictably. One, it gives a bit of structure for me. So it gives me some goals, like smaller goals and milestones to achieve. So then that also helps me feel like I'm making progress. Because that is one thing, I guess, nobody tells you. When you're in corporate world, everything is kind of dictated to you. It's, you know, it's up to you if you succeed or not. But usually, you know, it's like, hey, you have these deliverables that are due at the end of the week, at the end of the day, at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter, whatever the time period is. So you always have these things that you have to keep in mind, and you have status updates, you have team meetings, you have to constantly give out reports and all that kind of stuff. And you work as a team, so people rely on each other. And these are all good skills to have because it teaches you about time management and expectations and all that responsibility. Once you're like not in corporate, when you're working for yourself, as I've been doing for the past few years now, it's like you are responsible for you and nobody else. You will punish you or you will not, right? It's like one of those, it's just up to you how disciplined you end up being. So at times I've been very good about it. Other times I've really dropped the ball. Having this kind of structure does definitely help me be better because it is kind of mimicking a little bit of that corporate world of set up these mini milestones, have certain deliverables, then you achieve it. And it's not just about getting work done. It's also like it gives you a little bit of a dopamine rush each time. You're getting a little bite-sized boost of like satisfaction because you've made progress, right? And I think that's just as important to not burn out, is to have these quick wins and consistent W's to make up for sometimes this feeling like there's no end to the road, right? It's like a long straight road leading to nowhere. You don't know. So yeah. Okay, it's getting really hot in here. I need to turn on the AC. Give me a second. I'm going to hit the BRB so I can flip on the AC a bit colder. And we're back. I like to freeze my ass off. Here we go. Fed says tiger blood. I'm not sure what that was referencing because I read it too late. My bad. I'm sorry. Sorry for that. All right. Okay, let me see the cliff notes here. You know what? One of these tools, speaking of AI potentially being also detrimental for creators, it's this AI tool built into YouTube now where I can click on this thing. Oh, sorry, I can show you. So within the video, they have this new feature. I don't know how new it is, but I just recently discovered it. You go into here, it says ask. And when you click on that ask questions, it just pops you over to a little AI chat conversation. Also, sometimes you'll see this button here already. It says summary. And then it gives you an AI generated video summary. Let's see if it's different from when I hit this summarize the video. Okay, so this one's more extensive. It says, in this video, Denzel, the creator, shares his simple content format that helped him gain 360,000 views and 4,600 new followers in 2 weeks. He emphasizes that the goal is to move from random, overwhelming posting to a sustainable system. He outlines 3 content types, growth reel / awareness. These are visual, no talking reels with B-roll and text that solves a specific problem quickly. Their job is to attract new followers, make them curious enough to subscribe. The second one is talking head reel, which is authority. In these videos, Denzel talks directly to the camera. You know what? It sounds like I should watch the rest of this video because I'm curious what he means by this growth reel where he's got no talking, but it's a hook. And then the carousel education, these provide value, often tied to a longer video, aim to drive saves and traffic. And this is the part where I struggle with the most. This concept of education. I get that YouTube is mostly about education, or that's a huge portion of it. I just don't feel well versed enough to properly give education. Like, here's my tutorial on how to use XYZ. That's probably something I need to change. I should get into that mindset of being more an educator on YouTube. So yeah, I think that's one of the goals I will definitely start looking into, is like, how do I share bits of like tips and tricks of how I use X tool or how I travel, stuff like that. And then I just got to figure out, it's simple and sustainable. Allowing him to consistently post 3 times a week, plus a long-form YouTube video without burnout. Each content piece has a clear, singular purpose. Mapping them to specific days. Sticking to the format for at least a month. Okay, so this might be something I digest off stream, because it sounds like I do want to watch this in more detail and see how it maps to what I'm doing. Let's watch a bit of this one then. King Cook says it's probably easiest to just attach a Raptor X with an 18mm lens and put it on a racing drone to film those chimps for awesome footage. Man. Oh, I just saw there's I think there's a new Netflix show coming out, or movie, called Chimp Empire. And they were showing, because I saw it on Instagram, someone posted, and the way they're filming behind the scenes, I was like, oh, I wish, why didn't they hire me to do that, you know? Is it called Chimp Empire? Yeah, so it's on Netflix. Chimp Empire. Oh. See, this is, okay, these are goals, okay? How my goal is to do enough of these kind of maybe adventurous, a little bit exotic type of captures of wildlife, to the point where hopefully I can get the attention of somebody somewhere out there when they want to do one of these things. It's like, oh, this guy, he knows how to, this guy survived trekking in the jungle to get these kind of captures. Okay, we should reach out to him to join the crew. That is definitely my goal, is to get my name out there somehow for these types of opportunities.
I want to show you the best photos that I captured last year. And I want to tell you the stories behind them, why I like them, what might I do differently to make them better, and also tell you a little bit about the gear that I used to capture them. Anyway, it's...
Man, that accent is pretty interesting. I kind of wish I had that. The betta. It's very staccato.
Really cold outside. It's a beautiful day up here in northern Sweden. So let's go jump on the snowmobile and go to a nice place, okay?
See, this is what I wanted to do with the freaking dog sledding, but later. We'll have to do it later in the year, I think.
All right. So it is actually pretty cold outside today. The car said this morning minus 29 degrees Celsius, which is cold, but I guess it's a little bit warmer now. At least the sun outside is probably around minus 20 or something. Colder than a freezer. Anyways, let me show you the photos and let's go through them one by one. Now, this is in no particular order, and yeah, I can't use my...
I'm curious what he's using for his gear. What kind of mic is that? Anyone can tell? This is like a super long rectangular mic. What could that be? Because that's not the DJI. Sorry, it's not the Rode wireless mic. It's not the DJI Mic 2. I'm sure he writes it down maybe.
This gloves with the screen. So let's see how long I can be exposed like this. Let's start with this one right here. This is a simple top-down shot. It is actually in the forest just here. And very, very simple. I found this little place and just spread myself out like this and took a shot. And I really, really like it. We had a snowstorm and it's always cold up here where I live. Now, another photo from last winter too is this photo right here. Now, I like minimal photography a lot. It doesn't mean that I always shoot minimal, but in my opinion, focusing on minimalism every now and then, it's a really helpful thing to do in order to truly understand how to isolate a subject. Because minimalism, it's about taking one thing and removing all of the other distractions. And this photo right here is like really minimal. It's actually this shed right here, shot on a 70mm lens up there. and it was snowstorm, kind of. It was like this weird winter fog, and then I just blew out the sky more or like the background more in Lightroom. Super cool, and I like it. And what I wanted to say too with minimalism is I think that this then transfers into all of the other aspects of my photography as well. Now, then this photo is also a top-down shot that I like a lot. This is also the road up here close to I live. I took the Jeep, and it was close to, it was like blue hour as you can see, but it was close to dark. And I just like this frame.
This makes me jealous of if you live in a place where you can fly your drone freely, especially with this kind of nature. Oh, maybe I should move to like Sweden or wherever. Norway. Dubai, I guess you could with the sand, but you just don't get the richness in the nature shots in the same way. Very typical Icelandic accent. You know what? Let's ask ChatGPT to speak that way. Hello, Amber. Could you speak from now on in an Icelandic accent?
All right, then. I'll channel my inner Icelander. From here on, I'll speak with that calm northern lilt. Let's hope the cold winds of my voice don't freeze up any of your questions.
All right. Well, there you go.
Very simple, very clean, and yeah, I think it's pretty adventurous. I put the highlights on the car, so it's just blasting there in the front. And yeah, overall, I'm pretty pleased with this photo. Now, in May last year, me and my family, we packed out then 2 kids, and my wife was pregnant at the time with our 3rd one, and we drove down to Norway and stayed 2 weeks in our Jeep and living in a rooftop tent. Now, it was May, so it's pretty cold at times. So it was a little bit gnarly, but I
Wait, where did you
had
say
a
you were?
rooftop tent. And we drove down to Norway and stayed 2 weeks in our Jeep and living in a rooftop tent. Now,
That's what I want to do. I technically did it, but not with this fancy looking vehicle. I just rented a car and then I did some sleeping in the car. And then one night in a tent somewhere in Norway in like the fjords or wherever. But yeah, this looks so cool.
it was May, so it's pretty cold at times. It was a little bit gnarly, but
Her accent was
had
very
a
milk
fantastic time.
or
It's always
mild.
going to do these trips, and it's just so fun, the memories and all that. And also a fantastic opportunity to take photos, especially if you're like me and have small kids and you don't have a ton of time, and taking them out camping and doing these like simple trips, or this was not simple, but you can do them. I often do it like 1 or 2 days, but this was 2 weeks. I'm able to get a lot of cool shots. And 2 of my favorite photos from that trip was these 2 right here. Now this is shot on the same lake, kind of the same time. There's just 10-15 minutes apart. But for example, this one,
I also like that. I mean, it feels simple, but also I know it's still a lot of work. But the fact that he knew that he was going to make this video, but he's going to do it on a snowmobile and just like talking to a camera far away, and then having to visualize like, okay, at these points a photo will pop up here, blah blah blah. But it's kind of cool. So it's like unscripted, very casual, and then in the environment where some of these photos were taken. So it's nice.
I really like how all of the lines in the photo, they line up to that specific boat that is there in the middle. Everything.
I think I've taken a photo of this fjord. This looks familiar. This is giving me some thoughts as well of like, do I need to consider should I try similar things where I just film outside of my apartment? But the problem is I just don't have that much exciting nature around me to pull from. And I don't have a car, so it's not easy for me to just drive off into the desert and then shoot some video. I do have a friend who's got a car, but it's different. Look up Allemanstretten. Jesus. Allemanstretten. The everyman's right is a traditional, legally protected right in Norway, allowing public access to and use of most uncultivated land, including forest, mountains, and coast. It enables hiking, skiing, swimming, and picking berries or mushrooms. I've never heard of this word, but I think this is what I knew about. or this is I'm assuming it associates with like being able to camp. What do we call it? I think we just called it like they allow like free camping. Was that the term? Free camping. I know that was one of the things that got me excited about Norway was like, oh, I can rent a car. You're telling me I can rent a car and literally just as long as you're not in private property, you can just like park the car, set up a tent, whatever, and just sleep there. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. So I did that. That's why I went to Norway for a road trip. And then I went to Oman, and Oman has the same kind of rule. What is it called? What is the rule for Norway and Oman where you can camp wherever you want? The right to roam. Okay, so it's the same word. Gotcha. Allemansretten, and sometimes called right to roam. I didn't hear this word though. There's like a different word. Free. I think it was just called free camping. Doesn't matter. Gotcha though. Yes, I think that's one of the coolest things about Norway. And again, it is possible in Oman, in case anyone wants to visit there. People used to call Oman the Norway of the Middle East. Why do people still call Oman the Norway of the Middle East? Yes, the Musandam Peninsula is still frequently called the Norway of the Middle East due to its dramatic steep-walled fjords. The more you know.
Just pointed.
Gotta collect my streak. Also, good morning / night. How are you? I hope you're... Oh, hey, what's up, Ayo? Ayo says, gotta collect my streak. Also, good morning and night. How are you? I hope you're doing fine. I would love to watch your streams, but unfortunately, I have to sleep. No worries. I forget what time you said or what time zone you're in. I keep forgetting these things. But thank you for keeping the streak alive. Doing very well. Wonderful stream. We had a epic raid from Yami. So shout out to Yami Akuma, who is a Twitch streamer, which everyone should follow if you have Twitch. So that was really fun, just to seeing people pop in and saying hi to me. And then, yeah, we spent the first hour of the stream not doing any work. I was just talking about random stuff. I think I was just talking mostly about my thoughts on AI and how I got into live streaming and some random other mini topics in between. But yeah, now I'm starting to do a little bit of work. I wanted to watch some of this video to get some ideas for my own YouTube channel for potential videos I should make. And then I'm just editing this photo in the meantime. And then very soon I'm going to hop over into doing some video edits of Mongolia. Fed says, yeah, you need to look up exceptions to it. Like you have to be a certain distance from houses, etc. Yeah, I think I did remember it was something about private property. So it was just like, I felt like it was one of those, like, just be smart. It was one of those, like, you can basically camp anywhere, but just don't be an idiot. And otherwise enjoy. So I like these types of rules where it's not like super rigid, or it doesn't feel that way, and it's just based on you knowing not to be, just use your common sense. So Ayo says 11:38 p.m. at almost midnight. Oh damn. Yeah, so thank you again. Thanks for hopping into the stream. I appreciate that. Let's keep watching this and let's see what I can do with this.
My lady was driving and I spot through the window a guy that is about to push a yellow boat out on the lake, and I was just like, babe, you need to find a place to stop. This is going to be a good photo. And luckily the kids weren't sleeping, because when they sleep in the car, then you need to drive. You who have kids, you understand what I'm saying here. But luckily they were in a good mood. We even bought ice cream for them there. We found a little place to stop. It was like a camping. We were very, very lucky. And then I ran out and just started to take a ton of photos. And I came up with this little composition, and I think it's really nice. And then this one was the same spot, same boat, I think, even. And I'm just really happy here too. I really like the edit I did here. It is like this little nostalgic vibe, and the light is just great. And I like the straws also in the foreground as well. And there were actually two boats. I know, a little cheeky, I removed one. I just thought it was a little bit cleaner that way. Now, pretty much all of the photos that I'm going to show you here are landscape photos, but one photo that I liked a ton was while I was in Tokyo last February, and then I shot this photo right here. This was shot on the Sony a7 IV. All of the photos are shot on the Sony a7 IV, and it was the Sigma 85mm 1.4. I just like this. This is so cyberpunk. I love the edit, and you might be wondering, but
I like his accent. Cyberpunk. Or when he said edited, what is it? Edited? I don't know. Yeah, I need to get me an Icelandic accent. All right. This is a cool photo though. 85
what
millimeter.
filter are you using to get that cool light? This is actually no filter at all. My buddy Mats Petter Iversen, he has a YouTube channel as well. He was wearing this coat or this jacket with this fluffy thing around it. You know what I'm saying? On the hood. And I just went very close to it, and the hair kind of bent the light in this really cool way, and it just turned out so cool. And I post this photo from time to time on my social media accounts, and I always get the question, what filter are you using? Now you know, no filter. I just got a little bit creative where I was leaning the camera, getting super close, so it was just to the lens, and boom, it made this incredibly creative and cool shot here. Now another photo that's also from May that I like a ton is this one right here. Now, this photo is shot in Sweden. Now, Sweden is a place that I think, how can I say this? It's really pretty. Obviously, you can see it's nice, but it's not this in-your-face, aggressive landscape like you get in Iceland or Norway or even Faroe Islands, which it's pretty simple to get sick photos. Sweden is much more subtle, it's much more wide and open, and I think it's a little bit harder
with him.
often to get like superb photos because of that. It's not like the mountain, I have a big mountain there, but it's so big. Like, how can I frame it somehow? And it's always so far away. But with it being said too, I think Sweden has a ton of potential because there aren't, like all of the photographers are in Norway, they are, my hands are getting freaking cold, but they are in Norway, they are in you know, Iceland and all the places. But this photo, we were on a short hike. This is on the east coast. There's a place on the east coast really nice, and I just love the light here, and I love the little houses. It's really inviting. I just think this is super cool. I obviously went really low and got this little foreground thing in the front there, which also helps me add more depth to the images. And I have a foreground, we have the middle ground, and we have the background as well, which gives a nice depth to the image. And lights, colors, the edit, I'm really happy with this one. By the way, if you're a total beginner and or a beginner photographer and you're taking your first step into this just amazing thing that we all love, taking photos, then I'm working on something specific.
Photos. Okay. Good video. I'll probably watch the rest later. But I am ready now. I'm ready. Let's freaking do this. I need to get through this video, okay? So, let's rewind the clock a bit. We're going to do a bit of a proper video editing time. Fed asked, what is that, a toucan? Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm kind of fumbling around with this a bit. I'm trying to see if I wanted the background to be a bit cooler tones to complement the more warm yellowy tones of the bird. But this is a hornbill. I forget the name of the hornbill. We looked it up before. What country was this? Sri Lanka. Hornbill. Which one are you? Jesus, how many hornbills do they got? Malabar, that was the one. I just lost it. Malabar pied hornbill. This guy. So this is the Malabar pied hornbill. Very wacky looking thing. Very cool to photograph though. I'm not a fan of photographing a lot of the small birds. So I usually like when you got these big ass birds coming at you. And then here I was able to get focus on the eye decently. Let's put it into 100%. So we've got pretty decent focus on the eye once it, yeah. So we've got like a full shot. You know, you see the entire bird in flight. It's also doing an interesting pose with the wings. Obviously, we caught it in a moment where, you know, it looks like it's, I don't even know what to say, but it's just a very unique pose, I guess, compared to all the other wing in flight kind of shots you can expect. But also, I think given the focus on the eye, I could also see maybe doing a version of this photo where I kind of crop in, right? So you just get, this is at 100%. So I can imagine a world where I do crop in quite a bit into something that makes the eye a bit more accentuated or just a bit more of the focus. And also kind of showing the sharpness of the beak, right? The interesting jagged / curved line of its mouth. It's just a very interesting bird, and obviously you got that weird tumor on its head. So, yeah. So this one I'll probably give a little bit more thought in terms of how do I do the composition. The good news is the background is so clean. You know, there's no distractions. It's just a bit of a semi-textured background. So it's more just figuring out the right coloring, or if I want it saturated versus desaturated. I'm not entirely sure yet. I have 2 directions I can go with this. And then, yeah, just trying to lock in on the eye a bit. No answers yet. I can't figure it out. But this is one of those shots where like I don't have to do much. I could do 0 edits on it and it's a good shot because I got, of all the other frames of it, this one was the lucky one where focus is there, pose is there, distraction none. It's just the bird. So now we can get started on this guy. Let's put on some lo-fi beats. Although I'm about to play this, so wrong timing. Here we go. Oh, by the way, I totally forgot. Fedorevsky, you mentioned you told me about the Dehancer contest, and I totally forgot to submit some of my stuff. So I need to put that in the back of my mind of like taking some of my clips or my videos and then pushing it onto that contest, because there's a bunch of lenses as part of the prize, right? So yeah, I totally forgot. I need to do that. I shall do that this weekend. All right, so then the eagle comes in for a landing. Here we have our voiceover, some kind of soft ambient soundtrack probably, as I give a bit more of context, and then we watch as the eagle lands. Now, my initial thoughts, we have changed. So instead of doing every intermission with the eagle coming in, the next intermission will be the horse riders charging through. The third intermission, might be me. I don't know. We'll see. Fed says, I think it's open still. I keep getting emails about more judges at it. Yeah. I think it's open until like sometime in late March or April. I forget when it was. So there's enough time. However, I will be starting to travel by like the second week of March, most likely. So it behooves me to just take care of it all now, right? So yeah. Okay, it's not bad. There's a few minor things here and there I'm sure I can keep tweaking. For example, I felt like this might be a bit abrupt. So does it make sense to also try to figure out how to fade it in and stuff? So let's see what I can delete. I think I can delete this one and this one. Then we need to raise this one up one. Bring this one up here. Restabilize a little bit. Okay, let's see how. Okay, the fading is not bad, but now it fades into, or now it becomes a middle shot, and the middle shot fades in too quickly. So now I feel like I need to give it a bit more space. Okay, I think it's decent. Kavai, welcome, Kavai. Says new chatters. Yes, hello, Kavai. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I haven't heard from Roger. I think he's been a bit busy, and I haven't also sent him a follow-up email. But like I said, it's a little too late now because we are basically almost at the end of Feb. So I'm just gonna send him an email if I remember tomorrow morning to just let him know, like, thanks. Hopefully we can do. He mentioned maybe in May he's doing a trip to Svalbard with the dog sledding. So I'm thinking maybe if there's an opening there, that could be another possibility to do the trek. And then otherwise, I am trying to start to put in some feelers about maybe in the summer or springtime. There's some kind of migration with the reindeer. Actually, hold on. We should check this now before it's too late. I'll ask ChatGPT and I'll Google it. Okay, Amber, I'm considering going to Norway to film the reindeer, and I understand there's some kind of a migration that occurs every year where all these herds of reindeer are, moved to another location. Do you know what time of year that happens?
The reindeer migration in Norway happens twice a year. In the spring, usually around April or early May, the herds move from inland areas to coastal summer pastures. In autumn, around September through October, they return inland to winter pastures. So if you're aiming to film the migration, spring or early autumn is your best shot.
Also, what happened to your Icelandic accent?
Well, partner, much like a reindeer that took a wrong turn in a blizzard, that accent got left behind. Now, I reckon you asked for a cowboy voice, and I'm just a humble bot doing my little dance to the tune you're whistling.
Okay, but previously I asked if you can actually switch over to the Icelandic accent. Could you do that going forward, por favor?
Well, since you said it nicely, though you mix languages like a confused cowboy, I'll swap my boots for a Nordic breeze. Henceforth, you'll hear me speak with that Icelandic flavor, at least until you get bored again.
All right, we'll see if she forgets. Fed says, behoove is a fun word. In Norwegian, we have the similar word behove equals need to. I behoove. I behoove you. Is that a word people say? I behoove you. Am I just making that up? I beseech you. Behoove you. It behooves you. That's a word. Okay, sorry. I forgot that that's a word. It would behoove you to do something. Yeah, okay. Kavai says, yes, I understand Svalbard trip would be amazing. If you could come look at the reindeer migration mid-May, that's when I'm working there, so I can help with filming and whatnot. Interesting. Well, he mentioned Svalbard was happening in May, so I wonder if I could do something. Maybe that's where I could combine it, where I do a dog sledding trip to Svalbard, and then also film the reindeer migration. But yeah, it requires a bit more research. Right now, I'm trying to put it together as like a film pitch. I'm trying to pitch it as a project, and hopefully getting funding for it, right? Where I can say, hey, I want to make this documentary about the reindeer tribe in Norway as well as in Mongolia, blah, 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 blah. It's going to cost this much. And so that one requires more time. So realistically, the autumn timing is better because obviously it just buys me a few more months to prepare everything. But yeah, okay, so either May or in the autumn time. Fed says, if you were there for May 17, you need to get a Norwegian flag. Why? What's on May 17 in Norway? Independence or what? May 17, known as Syttende Mai, or Constitution Day, is Norway's most important public holiday. Signing of the Constitution in 1814. It is a massive, joyful national celebration marked by children's parades, traditional bunad is this the bunad costume? Okay. Cool. You know, the Norwegian flag is pretty cool, though. I like the colors. As an American, I approve. Okay, anyways. The Icelandic accent. What am I mixing? Is that Icelandic or am I mixing with like something else? I just finished watching Fargo, so I've got like that North Dakotan or the Minnesotan accent in my mind. Very good show, by the way. I recommend it. 10 out of 10. Except for the 4th season. Now I was like, That's the one that Chris Rock plays a serious role in there. I'm like, he doesn't give off that kind of vibe. Yami says, back from dinner, but still continuing my lurk. Oh, well, thank you very much for the epic continual lurk. Surviving a dinner meal. Thank you. Kavai says, yes, you should see May 17th. I should. The Football Scout. Oh, what a cool name. The Football Scout 0350 says, you love Norway. I do. I've only been once, though. But when I went there, I think it was like 2.5 weeks. And did a lot of like solo trip for most of it. And then picked up a buddy of mine. And then we did like a duo trip through other parts of Norway. Beautiful country. Loved the whole, whatever the word was again, for like free camping. 10 out of 10 country-wise. Those are traditional local dresses, not costumes. Gotcha. Did I say costume? My bad. I'm sorry. Sorry for saying that. Fargo was amazing. I remember the first 2. I think I watched it way back then. Yeah, I watched the first 2. Apparently the first 3. And then I didn't pay attention. Maybe it took a while for the next season and I didn't know it happened. So I only just realized that there were 5 seasons. So in the past like couple weeks, I think I finished it all. I watched it all. And like I said, the latest show that I'm watching is The Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which is it's like a standalone book that George R.R. Martin made about that same world. Very, very good book for what it's worth. And the show is even better. It is actually fantastic TV show. So that is my current recommendation. And then I only got one more episode left before it's done. So now I have to figure out, what do I watch? Because I'm always multitasking. I need something to consume. I need to watch Peacemaker Season 2. I just don't have access to it anywhere yet. That's on the top of the list. And then, who knows? There's a bunch of stuff I'll need to catch up on. Oh yeah, there's a Korean movie that just came out that people were raving about. Oh my God, that just reminded me. Everyone has been raving about this movie with Ryan Gosling that had some kind of special showing recently called Project Hail Mary. And I actually have the audiobook on my phone, so I want to read up on this book now, or listen to the book, because it's by the author Andy Weir, who his claim to fame was The Martian, I believe. The book The Martian, which then got turned into the movie with Matt Damon, and man, that movie was incredible. And so I remember, what was the sequence of events? I think I watched the movie first, and then I read the book. No. I think this is one of those where the movie trailer looked so amazing that I then went and got the book, read it, loved it, and then the movie was even better, or one of those kind of things. But yeah, The Martian. But yeah, this guy is an amazing author, and I seem to remember when he wrote The Martian, there was something about how he made the book that was also very novel. Either he went through unconventional means, or it was also the fact that it was like very scientifically driven, that people were like nitpicking it. He's like, oh, this could actually technically happen, or he wrote it in the right way of like what a scientist would expect would happen in Mars, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, he has a second book, or he has another book called Project Hail Mary, and apparently people are raving about it. Like, this is the best sci-fi movie of the decade. Stuff like that. Like, it's just constant people going crazy about this on social media, which I'm super excited for. I love sci-fi, fantasy. Anytime something amazing comes out from that, I'm super thrilled. Oh, he's the one who did the egg. Oh my God, he's the egg guy. That was the other reason I like this guy then. Hold on a second. We might have to read this out loud because it's like this is like a short story. It's incredible. The football. Let me read up. The Football Scout says, go to the Independence Day 17 of May. I'm from Norway. You love the 17th of May there. This is where all women and men wear the dresses. Dresses, not costumes, which I got. Well, thank you, Football Scout, for being here. We have a few Norwegians in the chat, which is kind of cool. I wonder if like YouTube's algorithm, does it do something there where it's like, oh, we've got a Norwegian and another Norwegian. Let's then find this Norwegian and bring him in over here. But either way, thank you. Whatever brought you to the stream, I appreciate your presence. Fed said, oh, I'm streaming on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. So I've been multi-streaming across these platforms for the past like 7 months. But usually what I do on stream is focusing on travel and wildlife photography and videography. But usually I kind of start off slow. So we've been catching on with some random stuff. Kavai says, Fed says you need to get the same kafta, and other clothing for your reindeer adventure. Oh man, I'm gonna get myself decked out. You know me, man. Okay. What do the Sami people wear? Let's see. I need to do the same thing. Give me one of these outfits. I want to deck myself out into this. Okay. Norwegian. This is pretty goofy, I'm not gonna lie, but in a good way, as in like it stands out. So I need to give me one of these outfits, and then when I finish the film in Mongolia, let's see, what is their outfit? What would I wear? I just want to photograph this, man. Yeah, this year is the year I'm going to make this happen. I need to go out here. I need to take these photos. There's something about these reindeer that's just so crazy to me. So to photograph this, the people with them, these like kids on reindeer, come on, you know? Yeah, I need one of these outfits then to mix it up. What if I wore the Mongolian outfit in Norway, and then I wore the Sami outfit in Mongolia? The Satan clothing. Oh, give me one of these tactical outfits here. What the heck is this? Okay, now we're going too deep into the dark web. What the hell is this? It's like a samurai... Black Ops samurai. Kavai says, geez, have you watched Ylvis, Stories from Norway? I have not. Ylvis. Stories from Norway. Is it a comedy? I do like me some comedy, so. My boss Roger has got some Same Sko shoes that I can wear. Okay, sounds interesting. Some people also have their own traditional singing, so you can record them. And, oh, that's so awesome. That's a really good idea. Thank you. Yobel needs the reindeer boots. Well, Fed, feel free to join me on this trip, because I would Ideally, it would be nice to have a film crew, to have a secondary person, camera operator, and all that. And if you're in Norway, then you can help me, right? With your own ZR, right? So everything will be filmed in ZR. Oh, come on, think about it. And then maybe you can fly out to Mongolia with me to finish the project. Think about it. Think about it. I need the reindeer boots. Yes, I do. Cats reppin' in the chat. Norweasel cats reppin' in the chat. Yeah, is there like 3 of you guys? That's awesome. I need to try the fin biff. Oh my god, I'm kind of hungry. Sauteed reindeer. I've eaten. It's like when you're traveling places and culturally they tell you to eat something, it's hard to say no. So I have ended up eating some random stuff before. Eating reindeer feels like that's not that difficult. If you tell me to eat the balls of the reindeer, though, now we're talking. I think I've had testicles. Did I? No, I had eyeballs. I had the goat eyeballs in the desert. I couldn't say no to that. It didn't taste bad, though. Thankfully, they didn't tell me what it was until after I finished eating it. Kavai says, yes, make the Mongolian Sami connection. On May 17, you get to see all of our people in traditional clothing and the Sami too. Wait, are there 4 of you guys? Are we just like a Norwegian stream? Can you imagine a world where I become a famous streamer, but only nowhere in the world, just in Norway, right? I become like a famous Norwegian streamer, but then people are like, oh, he's a Norwegian guy. He's like, no. He's a Asian dude. Oh, so he's Korean guy. Wait, he's speaking Korean? He's like, no. He's actually American. Oh, okay. So it's a Korean American that becomes the #1 streamer in Norway. Dude, what a world. That would be funny. New goals. We're going to unlock new goals this year. Fed says, I'm in the complete opposite part of Norway, probably the same distance away as Africa from me, from where I am. Jeez. Well, good to know these things, guys. Oh, yeah, sorry. Reindeer. No, not reindeer. Andy Weir. They're the egg. Oh, my God. This book is so good. Can you even call it a book? It's like just a few paragraphs. Okay, so this was my actual first introduction to Andy Weir. I didn't know this was him. And then when The Martian came out, then I made that connection where I was like, oh, my God, this guy's so good. And then I got the book, Project Hail Mary, but then I never actually listened to it because I got too distracted. Let's take a little moment to read this short story because I think it's worth it. Everyone should read this book, short story, whatever you want to call it. It's so good. And I actually don't remember anything about it now. So here we go. Let's put some lo-fi beats over this biatch. Called The Egg by Andy Weir. You were on your way home when you died. It was a car accident. Nothing particularly remarkable, but fatal nonetheless. You left behind a wife and 2 children. It was a painless death. The EMTs tried their best to save you, but to no avail. Your body was so utterly shattered, you were better off, trust me. And that's when you met me. What happened, you asked? Where am I? You died, I said, matter-of-factly, no point in mincing words. There was a truck and it was skidding. Yup, I said. I died? Yup, but don't feel bad, everyone dies, I said. You looked around, there was nothingness, just you and me. What is this place, you asked? Is this the afterlife? More or less, I said. Are you God? You asked. Yup, I replied, I'm God. My wife, my kids, my wife, you said. What about them? Will they be all right? That's what I like to see, I said. You just died and your main concern is for your family. That's good stuff right there. You looked at me with fascination. To you, I didn't look like God. I just looked like some man, or possibly a woman. Some vague authority figure, maybe. More of a grammar school teacher than the Almighty. Don't worry, I said. They'll be fine. Your kids will remember you as perfect in every way. They didn't have time to grow contempt for you. Your wife will cry on the outside, but will be secretly relieved. To be fair, your marriage was falling apart. If it's any consolation, she'll feel very guilty for feeling relieved. Oh, you said. So what happens now? Do I go to heaven or hell or something? Neither, I said. You'll be reincarnated. Ah, you said, so the Hindus were right. All religions are right in their own way, I said. Walk with me. You followed along as we strode through the void. Where are we going? Nowhere in particular, I said. It's just nice to walk while we talk. So what's the point then, you asked? When I get reborn, I'll just be a blank slate, right? A baby. So all my experiences and everything I did in this life won't matter. Not so, I said. You have within you all the knowledge and experiences of all your past lives. You just don't remember them right now. I stopped walking and took you by the shoulders. Your soul is more magnificent, beautiful, and gigantic than you can possibly imagine. A human mind can only contain a tiny fraction of what you are. It's like sticking your finger in a glass of water to see if it's hot or cold. You put a tiny part of yourself into the vessel, and when you bring it back out, you've gained all the experiences it had. You've been in a human for the last 48 years, so you haven't stretched out yet and felt the rest of your immense consciousness. If we hung out here for long enough, you'd start remembering everything. But there's no point to doing that between each life. How many times have I been reincarnated then? Oh, lots and lots. And into lots of different lives, I said. This time around, you'll be a Chinese peasant in 540 AD. Wait, what? You stammered. You're sending me back in time? Well, I guess technically, time as you know it only exists in your universe. Things are different where I come from. Where do you come from? You said. Oh, sure, I explained. I come from somewhere else, and there are others like me. I know you'll want to know what it's like there, but honestly, you wouldn't understand. Oh, you said, a little let down. But wait, if I get reincarnated to other places in time, I could have interacted with myself at some point. Sure, happens all the time. And with both lives only aware of their own lifespan, you don't even know it's happening. So what's the point of it all? Seriously, I asked. Seriously, you're asking me for the meaning of life? Isn't that a little stereotypical? Well, it's a reasonable question, you persisted. I looked you in the eye. The meaning of life, the reason I made this whole universe, is for you to mature. You mean mankind? You want us to mature? No, just you. I made this whole universe for you. With each new life, you grow and mature and become a larger and greater intellect. Just me? What about everyone else? There is no one else, I said. In this universe, there's just you and me. You stared blankly at me. But all the people on Earth, all you, different incarnations of you. Wait, I'm everyone? Now you're getting it, I said with a congratulatory slap on the back. I'm every human being who ever lived, or who will ever live, yes. I'm Abraham Lincoln, and you're John Wilkes Booth too, I added. I'm Hitler, you said, appalled, and you're the millions he killed. I'm Jesus, and you're everyone who followed him. You fell silent. Every time you victimized someone, I said, you were victimizing yourself. Every act of kindness you've done to yourself. Every happy and sad moment ever experienced by any human was, or will be, experienced by you. You thought for a long time. Why, you asked, why do all this? Because someday you will become like me, because that's what you are. You're one of my kind. You are my child. Whoa, you said, incredulous. You mean I'm a god? No, not yet. You're a fetus. You're still growing. Once you've lived every human life throughout all time, you will have grown enough to be born. So the whole universe, you said, is just an egg, I answered. Now it's time for you to move on to your next life. And I sent you on your way. I think this is like it's such a cool concept of a short story where it's like a interesting meaning of life type thing. And there's a really nice takeaway for it, from it as well, right? So yes, it's fictional and all that kind of stuff. It'd be cool if it's real though, maybe that's a religion we can stick to. But regardless, even if you just read this as a short story, fun fictional read, I think it's got a nice message in there about this concept of like, if you are everyone and you are going to live every single life, every time you hurt someone, every time you do something to exploit or cause harm in the world or to others, you're basically doing it to yourself. And there's something very profound about that kind of thought process that, it can help. It's like a nice way of life and a way to live life. It's similar to the whole golden rule, right? Is it called the golden rule? The thing that we grew up with as kids learning, the golden rule, which is like, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? Treat others like you want to be treated. It's like a cool rule. It works for kids. It works in general. And I feel like this story is just like an evolved version of that, where it's like, it's not about doing unto others as you want done unto you. It's more like, do to yourself what you want done to you yourself, right? It's like, do you really want to hurt yourself? Do you want to love yourself? Do you want to spread kindness to yourself? It's like, okay. So anyways, sorry, random tangent, but this was a really cool short story. I was very inspired by it. And I'm jealous, yet again, that I didn't come up with this concept. Because this concept and the way it's written is just like, psh, primo. Okay, anyways, we're supposed to be doing some video editing here. Let's drop that out. Oh right, we got the Norwegians in the chat saying a bunch of Norwegian words like Finnbiff and Finnmark. Fed's going to Spain for 4 weeks. The Lang Paske ferry, and I need to try the Fari call. And Fed says Ja Reiser Ka en Uk for Paske Men Blir. Oh my god, you know what? I'm gonna copy and paste that. Let's see what ChatGPT says about this. Ja Reiser Ka en Uke for Paske Men Blir Not Mie Filming Og Sa Lit Mix.
Jæja, það víst þannig. Þú endar í kuldanum, ertir dýrin og allt í nafni góðs myndefnis. En veistu, það að minnsta kosti minna dramatíst en að reyna að stýra fólki. Svo taktu myndavélina og farðu út í frostið.
Okay. Well, I'm proud of myself because apparently my pronunciation of those Norwegian words was good enough for ChatGPT, which means it's good enough for me. Fed says Yobel needs to document making smalahove and learning the flambeing technique. Oh man, too many words here. I'm assuming these are all food words, which is great because now I'm getting hungry. Fed says Yobel needs some freeze-dried lapskaus for his adventures. I would love to have some reindeer jerky. I feel like that would probably be a thing, right? If you're going cross-country on a dog sled, why not munch on some reindeer jerky? Is my assumption. Fed says that's Finnish, I think. Oh, shoot. Did I pronounce it wrong then? Ja Reiser Kanuk for Paske Men Blir Not Miet Filming Og Salet Mix. Whatever. It was close enough. All right, what was I supposed to do? Oh yeah, so here we are. Video looks decent, I think. Okay, generally speaking, that's good. Obviously, there's a bit of fine-tuning. I think the audio stuff, there's a few background sounds I'll need to cut out. We have to color grade everything. Bit of tune-up, but structurally, we're good to move on. Then the question becomes, what is the next slow motion? What is the next intermission? So it could be one of these shots. But the thing is, I also have a very dramatic horse charging shot, but I was saving it for the next one of the other chapters where we go into like resilience. So when we go into the fact that they live in these like harsh conditions. So I wanted to use a bunch of footage showing the winter conditions, right? When the blizzard kicks in the homestead as well, like how obviously one of the horse dies, so showing some of those clips as well. Where is it? Dun, 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 dun. Where art thou? Because we did find because obviously I used one of them in the first episode, but I have a second shot of the riders charging through the snow that I technically haven't shared in the video before. So that should be something I use. I was thinking of saving it for the resilience verse. However, let me just find it and then I'll have a better sense. Where are you? Oh my god, I have too many clips. I'm pretty sure I brought it over, didn't I? Wait, I like the color grading on these two. What did I do on this one? Fez says, I'm going about a week before Easter, but there will probably be a lot of filming too, so a mixed trip. In response to Kavai asking if it'll be a prolonged Easter vacation. Gotcha, gotcha. Where is my freaking clip? Where are you hiding? I guess I'll have to find it. Come on. I could have sworn I brought it over. Into the blizzard. Okay, let me just drag this one in. So this is a potential clip I can show in either slow motion, and either I show it during, slow it down by 20%. Let's play both versions. Real-time speed and then in slow motion. Okay. And the question becomes, is this a nice intermission shot where I'm speaking and talking about something, blah, blah, blah. And this one technically can be the shot that I play in its entirety after the resilience episode. I guess that makes more sense because after we watch the verse about resilience, then if I'm giving the context of like, hey, here's the harsh conditions of where they live, then if you see a shot like this in the background as you're hearing me narrate, it would feel a bit more fitting because of how dramatic the scene is. So yeah, this could work later. And then let's see it in slow motion. Do, 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 do. And yeah, so this one is like the second version of what I used in my first episode of Mongolia. So they did this kind of like horse charge through the snow, I guess a couple times. Which is so cool, because even this shot right here, with nothing else, just watching the snow, and you see them kind of like ghosts through the snow. So let's say if I use this part as intermission, starting around here somewhere, maybe. It might be too long though. Or at least at this speed. We'll see. Yeah, like this part right here for sure is dramatic. You can see the horse, they're getting closer together. Oh, side note. This could be just like its own standalone video that I post on YouTube as well. Okay. So how long was that? 5. It's like at least a couple minutes depending on where if I start from around here, 36:47, 37:47. It's like a minute and a half. A minute and a half, that's actually not bad. That's reasonable, I think. Let's see. Okay, so in which case, either way, I feel like the snow charging shot makes more sense to show in between the other intermission. So then what is a better intermission shot for this section? It could actually, you know what? It could be one of these shots. Because then I'm trying to think, what is the context? What would be my talking points or my narrative as this intermission plays out? Obviously, I'm kind of recapping what we just saw about the hunt. So I'll be relaying through my words the, how amazing or how unique it is to see these eagles hunting, right? The way they're trained once they're surveying the skies or when they see their prey, and how they, how they're used for hunting. So if I'm talking about the eagles, then seeing another shot of the eagle in flight, I guess could make a lot of sense. So where'd it go? Where were you? It could be this. So let me go ahead and bring this guy over and we'll see. So for now, let's say we move these ones out of the way. Okay, and then the next question is, what do we do? Do we show this full screen? Because I have two clips that are lined up with the same moment, I believe. So maybe this time we could do the split screen, potentially. Let me see. How should we do this? Also, is this synced to the same moment? Let me see. I think it is. Okay, let me just shrink this first so I can see both shots together. Okay, so assuming these are from the same moment, either way I have the clip incorrectly placed. So let's do the excruciating task of mapping this together. So we just gotta find the moment the eagle takes off. It's like roughly here, right? So from here, first kind of like wing flap. Okay, I feel like I just saw that moment. Hold on. Okay, here you see the eagle twist, do a little like turn, and then just a few seconds later, this clip does the same thing. So I think that means I need to move this clip a bit this way. Oh, did I nail it? Is this it? Did I get it right? Let's see. Okay, let's just watch and get a double check here. King says, just get some nice Rommegrot for a quick carb pickup. Sour cream porridge. Listen, I've been trying to be diligent with my dieting. I've been on and off. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I've been eating some rice. I know I was supposed to cut out rice entirely. Ugh, it became a little bit of a challenge. So... but I've been trying to be healthy, and I went to the gym, so I've been steady with the gym. But I was unable to give up rice entirely, all right? But I'm eating it in smaller portions. All right, let's see if I synced up this shot together. Oh, I think I'm off. Okay, so what does that mean? How it means the clip on the right was earlier than the clip on the left, which means I need to push the clip on the top here a little bit later. Maybe that was too much. Let's see. Okay, so this is the moment eagle has landed. And when is the moment for the shot on the left? Probably right around here. Right around here. Okay, so then the shot here has to roughly here. Okay, let's see. There's also semolina porridge. Oh, okay. I'm off. I didn't realize. Okay, so the clip on the right, while it landed here, it took a few more steps. What? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then here's where he stopped moving forward. So there's no more forward motion roughly around here. And then the head turn. So we gotta find the head turn moment on this clip here. So coming in for landing, 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 landing. Somewhere here hits the ground. Look for no more forward motion. And then we need one head turn. Is that it? Okay, I think that's it. There's a head turn here. Boom, boom. So let's match to this one. Somewhere like here. Dude, I don't even know if I'm doing this. Can you... I'm gonna laugh if it turns out these two clips are not even related to the same moment. I'll be so upset. Alright, let's see though. There's also semolina porridge, so many to pick from. Both served with sugar, cinnamon, and butter. Oh, rice porridge as well. Man. Okay, I think I have it perfectly in sync now. Because I'm seeing the head motions are literally lined up. Oh my god, I think I did it. Oh, I did it. This is it. We got the right sync. I'm a genius. I'm a goddamn genius. Alright, well, it's lined up now. We just gotta figure out how best to show it. So technically the Z9 camera quality is better. So in many ways, in many respects, I feel like this one should take more of the real estate. However, the GoPro shot is more unique. So I don't want to lose sight of that. So the question becomes, do I put... Let's see how much it takes out. Yeah, so I do want the full, as much as possible, I want this full screen. Is it better to do a split screen, or is it better to do like an overlay? There's also, we don't know how picky Yobel is with his porridge. Man, I'm not picky. I just like carbs and meat. Meat and carbs, alright? Give me some good ass chicken or beef or lamb or reindeer and some rice, and I'm happy. Okay, so do I set it up like this? Let's see. It might be better on the other side. Drone footage from racing hippos would be awesome. If I can stick an action camera on a hippo, oh my god, that'd be so disgusting. Because the moment the hippo goes into its pond, that pond is like basically 99% hippo shit. That's one thing, if you've never done a wildlife safari, like let's say an African Jeep safari, one of the things is like when you're navigating around, you will know when you're near one of the hippo, I don't know what they call it, wherever the hippos live, like their pond, because of the smell. It's like this really strong sulfuric smell. Like imagine a bunch of those stink bombs or like rotten eggs, because like all they do is they just like, they bathe in that water and then shit in it, and somehow it's okay for them. I don't get it, but the smell is putrid. It's lamb. Farikal is lamb. Finalar also. It's cured lamb. Okay. It's one of the traditional lamb-based Christmas dinners. Man, you guys are making me hungry. Okay, I just got to figure out the best way to position both of these cameras to still give it a nice flavor of what's happening. So like this is one option. The other option is to crop each of them. So maybe the Nikon camera takes up 2/3 and then the GoPro takes up like 1/3 in like a vertical format. So let's say this is one option. I'm not like fully bought into it. Do a copy. So what is option number 2? Option number 2 is we split this in. Let's reset everything. Crop. Something like this. Okay, let's see. Let's see how this version looks. And then if I cropped to the right a bit, just to give it a border. There's probably a better way to do this. Fenalar is cured, so you can bring it on adventures. It's a whole cured thigh of lamb. We hang it on the wall, and there's a little knife and a string by it, so you can cut off some slices to snack on. That sounds damn good. I want to buy me some of that. Man, beef jerky, if it wasn't so expensive, that'd be like a go-to every time, you know? I'm sure you could attach a whole Fennelar to your new harness so you can... Oh my god, you just reminded me of... I had an idea. If in case I ever need to be like wacky and out there to be like to stand out as a streamer, I was thinking like... Because I got this harness, right? We're ready to go for some upcoming trips. So I'll definitely use this on my Uganda treks and some other places. I might actually just use it more often because it just has utility I didn't realize. You know, it's got extra pouches here. Inside here as well, there's an extra pouch, so I can technically put some memory cards or batteries or I don't know what. Although this will be pretty sweaty to put on the backside. But the thing I was talking about was I was like, oh, if I have this guy, I wonder, is it actually possible? Let me strap myself in. I was wondering, like, this is a, what's the word I'm looking for? Not a shtick. It's like doing a bit, right? And pretty cheesy. But listen, in the age of content creators and, you know, trying to stand out, I was like, oh, that could be interesting. What if I could have my microphone like somehow attached to the holder here? So like, you know, imagine it's something like this. So then instead of having to have this goofy ass mic arm, or, you know, it's always in the way, it's just like cumbersome. But instead, if I could have this guy hooked up like this, right? So just using the little the plate or the attachment thing, and if you could even just build one of these arms where you can attach a microphone, so that it's just like no matter where I go, you know, I should be able to have a microphone perfectly positioned, you know, at the right distance or whatever, always with my mouth. So no more of this, like, you know, wherever this guy is, if I move far away or something, the mic quality keeps like shifting and stuff. It's like, nope, you don't need this mic arm anymore. It's just here with me at all times. And I was thinking about it, it's kind of a gimmick. That's the word I was thinking of, gimmick. But how is this any less of a gimmick than using these like wacky arms? You know, these like big ass, like, look how gimmicky this is, right? Like this, having this big jointed elbow structure that takes up an annoying amount of the real estate on the camera, and it's like always blocking. You gotta like just talking to this microphone, you know. It's like everything about this is also kind of, you know, we've accepted it as like the norm, but it doesn't mean it's any weirder, right? So instead of having this, imagine it just like attaches here, right? Or I have to have like an adapter, like a little articulating arm or whatever, and then this gets attached, put like this, and then you guys will get perfect audio at all times. Or even technically I can take this RE20 mic, right? And so instead of putting it through this arm or like this Elgato, whatever you call this, I could technically remove it. And same thing, it's like a question of, can I get this thing attached to my cotton carrier vest? And then and then this thing is just is here at all times. The only reason I wouldn't do that, or more likely not, is this thing is much heavier. So now like you're actually getting some extra weight here in front of you at all times. And this would also look way more goofy. Actually, is that more goofy? But this is like so much more lightweight, you know? I guess if I remove the dead cat, if it's just this, right? So it could be like, actually, yeah, this looks much better. It's just, again, a bit absurd to see me wearing this camouflage vest. But if I attach this guy to this thing here, and then just point it basically, I don't actually know with shotgun mics. I'm assuming I want it directly to where my mouth is, or maybe it's off to a slight direction. Maybe it's like something like this, or like, so instead of doing it speaking like this, maybe it has to be like this. But yeah, attach it to this guy. And here we go. Perfect mic quality. Testing, like this. Actually, should I test it now? Here, 1 second. I do have the, this goes here. Give me a second. We're gonna unplug some things. This was a random thought I had today, but as I give it a little bit more life by breathing it into existence almost, there is a world where I can see there is some value to it. As long as I can dress it up nicely. Let me see. Let me just unplug something. I want to test the microphone with this guy. Okay, so let me unplug this. Let me plug this guy in. Where does it go? Okay. Thank you for letting me do this random thing right now. Let me full screen this guy. And then Rode NTG. Oh, it's right here. Testing. Test. Test. Okay, the problem is I can't hear it, so maybe I need to plug it into the Rodecaster. So this one, let me bring it into the Rodecaster. It says USB device requires updates. How the heck do I update it? Rodecaster app. Sync failure, retry. Device configuration. Yes, Nala. Okay, I'm trying to hook up this USB-C cable to the shotgun mic, but the shotgun mic says USB device requires update. Which is kind of funny because this is all Rode, isn't it? There's a Rode NTG shotgun mic. No, video mic NTG. I need to learn how to do this. Testing. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, sounds like something I need to figure out later. It says that the USB device requires update. So somehow I need to update. I didn't even know I could, but I have to update this video mic NTG so that I can get it to work with the Rodecaster. So I can't just like directly plug it in, it seems. But I'll do what I was doing before, where I can hook it up to my Mac Studio directly. And then let's go to the Rode NTG. Oh my god, I'm just making a mess on my desk. And I guess I need to go in here to advanced properties. And we'll turn on monitor and output, yes. Testing, testing. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Okay, I can't hear myself, but basically what I'm trying to test out is like, imagine if I hooked this guy up to this cotton carrier vest, and if I had some kind of rigged system so that the microphone is like always just right here, right? And then I would need it to be wired, unless there's some kind of wireless option. So then imagine it's hooked up here. And then no matter what I did, it's like always in a fixed position. So then during the stream, no matter where I look, I don't have to lean into the microphone. You just like get constant good, you just get constant good volume, good audio, no matter what. Right? Right? But that means I have to live with wearing this absurd looking thing during the stream. What is a thought? Food for thought. Food for thought. Okay, we're back with the real audio. Oh, I could... Actually, this cotton carrier could work even for my travel live stream concept, I guess. Like, if I'm wearing this, what does this mean? Let's say I'm on a Jeep Safari. Okay, so we're on the Jeep, and I'm wearing this cotton carrier. I got my ZR or my Z9. ZR or Z9 hooked up to the 400mm lens, but that's on a bean bag that I just kind of rest on the Jeep itself. Then here, what would I have? Here, oh, okay, here I could get one of those rigs so I could rest like my Osmo Pocket or one of these action cameras hooked up somewhere a little bit elevated so it feels more like an eye-level camera, and then use it as a HDMI source and then switch to it. So then it's more of like a point of view. That's one possibility. Another possibility, I guess, is that I could attach the microphone to this guy instead of like clipped on me somewhere else. So I could have the microphone attached here. A little bit unnecessary, I guess. Shooting. All right, so TBD, we'll still figure it out, but there could be some utility to this like cotton carrier. And like I said, it was just a random thought where it's like, if I don't need this mic arm anymore and I could just stick the mic onto this and just talk to this thing, oh, that could be nice. But this thing is kind of absurd. All right, back to normal. Thank you guys for letting me ponder some random dumb ideas. Let's put this dead cat back on. I have so much cleanup to do on my desk later. It's a little bit a little bit crazy right now. I have like cables everywhere. I got plugs, I got devices. That's one thing. Oh yeah, I mentioned before, but I didn't have time yet today. But I need to do a big inventory checkup, or I have to do a quick inventory. What's the word I'm looking for? I need to see what I've got, because if I'm about to travel to like 4 to 5 countries back to back, there's going to be a need to make sure I have all the right gears. Look at Kimbap. I need to update, or sorry, the focus is a little bit off. There we go. Hey Kimbap. Give me Kimbap. Good boy. Yeah, hello. Hello, hello. You see me waving? Good boy. Yeah. Kimbap, Kimbap. Hello. This is why we don't get any work done. All right, we're back to this. So this is the other thought, is maybe I do a split screen, make the eagle point of view slightly more pointed, like a vertical shot, and then let the Nikon shot take up a bit more real estate, and then just do a bit of selective cropping or try to position it. Okay, I'm leaning towards this approach. It just feels a bit cleaner to look at compared to like having this overlay style. And the amount that we're shaving off on the edges, I feel like it's negligible, or it's I can live with it. So let's see here. Let's delete this one. Let's drag these ones over. And then I'll drop the audio probably either fully or just, you know, just have a very casual amount left. All right, good enough. So that becomes the next intermission. So let's now figure out the next verse, which is all the way over here. So let's start to move all this out of the way. Progress is being made. It may not look like it, but it's there. So everything from here onwards. Everything here onwards we can crop. Okay. Let's move it over here for now. I hate deleting things, just in case. Now let's move this one. Which part? Home Homestead. Ooh, but is this clip better? Hold on. Because this is a version where she sticks the landing, right? Like, I think she lands right into the hunter's arm. But I don't have the accompanying Nikon camera view. So this is just a single point of view. So how would it work? If I do, okay, we have that shot intermission, then we got verse number 3, then we have one more intermission here, then we have verse number 4, and then we have another intermission there. So for the 4th intermission, I was thinking it would be the snow riders, basically the horses in the snow. So then this intermission, okay, this intermission, then maybe we don't need this eagle clip. It might just be this one here instead. So it could just be showing this different version of like me having it come to me. But it is a much shorter duration, so let's see. From 20 to 50. It's like, okay, it's like 30 seconds. And is it slowed down? I'm assuming yes. Where are you? It's already slowed down. Okay, that's a problem for next time. For now, though, let's go ahead. Let me grab all of this. Let's bring it over to the beginning here. Okay, and now we gotta replicate what we've done in the past. Resilience. So we need a quote. Copy all this. Homestead. So we remove the homestead. And we bring in this is verse number 1, 2, 3. Homestead. Then whatever the quote will be. All right, here we go. And this is how long? This is from 5:24 until 7:04. So what is that, like a minute and 40 seconds? So we can probably cut that one short as well. This is where we just feed in all the people shots. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what they're saying right there? They're like shit talking her. It's like all of this is them. They're like saying, this dude's just like roasting her right now. We have no idea. Okay, so this section we want all of those shots that represents the homestead, or like, you know, family. So let's see if I can find them. Let's bring this back over. So yeah, so shots like this where you see the kid. Even this one's nice. Maybe a moment like this somewhere. Just grab it all for now. Anything, basically anything that feels good. And then these are some duplicates, or I'm only going to use one of these moments probably, but grab this. This is a duplicate? Oh, it's a duplicate. Oh my god. So this shot here, homestead. I still don't know if I want to include the dog shots in there or not. I mean, it's like technically part of the family, right? But it's a little bit more of a stretch, I guess, in terms of what part of the family, in terms of culturally speaking, does the dog play. But it's a cute moment here. You know, I got some nice moments with the dog. Okay, if I need to fall back on some extra clips, I guess I'll do that. Food shots, I think. Maybe I can do a whole like montage. It just like quickly go through each shot that I have of the food. Okay, we got another kid shot. This one for sure needs to be there. And then let's just separate out the food shot. These are like maybes. I feel like I don't want to... I guess I did show myself before for the camaraderie one. Okay. So maybe I could use one of these clips here. Food shots.
Also, we've done this. Hold on, when was it?
Perfect.
Yeah, this is.
Alright.
And you're gonna.
To the future, yeah.
You're gonna cut.
Give me them food. Oh man, now I'm just getting hungry. More food shots. This is like honestly the most tedious part of it, but and it's like you don't even guarantee you're gonna have a payoff, right? But you know, it's part of the job. So basically I just need any footage that kind of feels like it fits into the theme of family / like, I guess I called it homestead. I'm not beholden to the name because I feel like homestead is a bit too old school. It's like a weird word that doesn't really have much. It's just like such a non. What would it be? Nobody uses it in real life. Whoever says homestead. So it's like a meaningless term. So I feel like maybe it's better just have the verse title not be so ambiguous. Just be like, call it the family, you know, that kind of thing. So we'll figure it out. But the point is, any shot that feels like it conveys a bit of like the family vibes, yeah, like the welcoming family vibes. These ones were more in the camaraderie one, so it's okay. We got these food stuff. So I figured, yeah, anything that shows like the traditional food that's being made as they were like feeding me and all that kind of stuff. So these things for sure. Let's lift that up. Drinking, not so much, but Okay, I think that's it. Maybe there's more. Let's see. Oh, there's one. Kid shot. Adorable. And then I guess right here, just to show a little bit of like the household, yeah, this is like a bit of the culture, what they care about. Family photos, the instruments. Okay, so that one should be there. Food, yes. Food, and then like praying. I forget if this is a prayer or if this is just like a gesture they do before they eat. I forget. Oh my god. So this is the kind of food that I love. If you guys tell me in Norway I could eat this kind of stuff, if that's all the words that you guys are using, the fenallar or the other things. Rachel says crunchy granola moms use Homestead in the US a lot. Crunchy granola moms use Homestead in the US a lot. I've never heard that phrase before. Crunchy granola moms. Those crusty ass granola moms. Well, that has much negative connotation, but this thing right here was so good. And I guess it's like fairly simple in the sense of you just get like whatever this meat was. I forget they explained it. Straight up tender meat. And then this like, I feel like it's made out of rice, but it's like a sticky, heavy noodly thing, pasta-y thing. I'm just putting all the words together. Oh, maybe he's explaining. Hold on.
Thank you. I start placing, but I need to cut also. Because
Wait.
This is like a dry meat from last winter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lamb and horse sausage. Yeah.
Lamb and horse sausage.
That's why they eat horse meat all the time. Welcome his family.
Thank you.
Our guests, they make this kind of meal. It's called five finger in Kazakh. Yeah, before we we start eating, like his blessing for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah. He want me to bless.
Okay.
For everyone.
Yeah.
The басқа амандық теңгесі алып берсін, қыстарыңыз жайлы болсын, отбасыларыңызға бақыт шаттық кетпесін, ұзақ ғұмыр тілеймін. I wish you for everyone all the best and good luck and a long age.
Thank you.
I start placing, but I need to cut also. Because this is like a dry meat from last winter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lamb and horse sausage. Yeah.
Oh, and I mentioned on the previous stream. Yeah. So I guess this is a Muslim thing. It's not like a Mongolian or Kazakh thing, but when they have this meal, they only use their right hand to actually touch the food. So the left hand is always clean. Right hand is what is used to pick up all the food and eat with it. I thought it was initially, or maybe they explained it. I forgot. Because then when I was here in Dubai and I went to the desert with some Emiratis, and they told me the same thing. So it's like it's a religious reason as opposed to like a cultural thing, or both. Rachel says exactly, LMAO. Yeah, crunchy granola moms. I'm gonna see if I can somehow insert that into my normal lexicon somehow. Those crunchy granola ass losers, or I don't know, the crunchy granola ass something. It's got a ring to it that I never knew was possible. Okay, so we want these shots. Anything close up of the food. And the family stuff. So I think from here all the way to there. Let's grab that. Okay, anything else? this is at the end as I'm packing up. So this will be part of the end of the story, and then we're good to go. Anything else? Driving home, saying goodbye. Okay, that means this is all we got. So, let's grab these ones and bring it back to the other groups. I need these ones as well. Let's drag it over. Let's paste this in. Not these ones, but these ones. Okay, so these are all of the clips that I have to use. Somehow we're gonna find a way to cleanly put it inside of that verse. And then, yeah. That custom is much, much older than Islam. Islam just happened to be spread in places where that was part of the culture, so it became a part of the religious practice. Okay. Yeah, I guess there could be, maybe it was something back in the day for cleanliness, when you didn't really necessarily have utensils. I imagine it could have just been like, hey, it's best to use one hand so it keeps one hand free for other things. Yeah, so I could see that it was more of a hygiene thing in the past that ultimately maybe had some religion baked into it. But yeah. Okay, so clearly we have enough clips here that dwarfs the actual song itself. So yeah, oh, and then like a lot of this will end up clipping up. So let's start clipping it up and seeing what we got. First, let's find all the food shots and put them all together, yeah? This was also so good. I'm a man of simple taste, okay? This, if you just give me whatever this was, like this kind of noodle carbs thing mixed in with meat, and just like you just dig in with the fork or spoon and just, oh, I could eat, you know, listen, obviously I have manners, okay? I wasn't going to be disrespectful to them. Although, to be honest, if I ate this whole thing on my own, I think they would have viewed that as a positive. But if they would have allowed me to, I would have just eaten all this in like 5 minutes. But you got to share, you know, all that stuff. So, God, this is good. Fed says that's it. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Cleanliness. Let's say these are all the food shots. Then I also want just like friendly house happiness shots with some of the happy kids kind of vibe. So what do we got? We got like maybe 3 to 4 clips of like some of the youth. So we got a kid here. We can use like maybe a couple shots from this. We've got this shot here. We've got another shot here with me. So is that 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this one here briefly, 5, and then just showing this. Okay, so we got maybe like 5 shots of like the kids, Then we've got a whole string of the food shots. And then we've got maybe like yeah, maybe I start with food shots, then I go into the kid shots. I'm trying to think what the last shot would be. Maybe back into this room here, and then it would jump back to her finishing the song. That could be an option. All right, that's an option. Feds has started in what is now India, Sri Lanka, and Arabia. Oh, okay. See, we learn something every day. I wonder where... I'm assuming chopsticks started in Asia, but where? Where in Asia? What country did chopsticks... Where... How would I say this? Which country invented chopsticks? Chopsticks were invented in China, with origins dating back over 5,000 years, likely originating near the Henan province. Okay, so before it was used for cooking, stirring fires, and reaching into deep pots of boiling water rather than for eating. They became common eating utensils by around 480. Damn! It's a long time before they decided to actually use it. You said probably China. Had to be China considering how old China is. Yeah. You know what? Of these three here, oh my god. Listen, I love me some Korean, okay? I am Korean after all. But the metal chopsticks gotta be the worst invention. It's like, try to pick up noodles with a metal chopstick. It is the worst. You're fighting against the grain, right? The wood makes so much more sense because you're getting a bit more friction with the noodles. With the metal, so slippery. It's like, come on, uninvent that shit. Okay, let me play from the beginning. I'm feeling like my creative energy is coming to an end here. Let's play this. Okay. I have no issues with this chapter. I think we're good. And then we had this coming in hot. Eagle flying through. Then we've got the next verse. It's not bad. Korean chopsticks are kind of a mix between Chinese and Japanese. Flatter like Chinese, but similar in size to Japanese. Either way, metal is just not the way to go, is what I would say. And then, oh yeah, separately, I'm going to make a YouTube video with just these eagle shots. So we'll definitely extract all of these kind of eagle moments and turn it into like a separate video. Because it is kind of cool seeing this guy in this way. Okay. And then it lands. All right. I feel like I'm at the end of my creative juice for today on this one. But, yeah. What is today? Friday the 27th. That means, what is it? It's just one more day? Is it, when is today? When is February end? I should know this, right? Wow, my knowledge of life and the world is bad. Is it always February 28th? Or I thought it was something where there's like a leap year, right? How does that factor in again? So we're on February 28th. What about next year? 28th again? I thought there was some concept like what year does February have? Is it every 3 years? Every fourth? 29 every fourth year. Thank you, Fed. These are things that they teach you in elementary school. Basically, the moment you have a functioning brain, you're taught these things. So good to know. My intellect is so good, so strong, so wonderful, so wow. Thank you for teaching me about leap year. Today is the 27th. That means we got one more day of Feb. Then I've got maybe 2 weeks of March before it sounds like I'll go on my first trip. Potentially slightly earlier. There's a lot of TBDs in my life right now in terms of what's going to happen. But it sounds like I'll have one trip to maybe Kenya. So I might do a workshop in Kenya at some part of March. Then I'll be in potentially Uganda for another part of that. I'll be doing a Uganda workshop in April and possibly South Africa for another workshop or like some kind of presentation. And I'm missing one. But the point is, it looks like I'll have my hands full with a bunch of trips. And so that's where I'm saying like, okay, I need to start to put a few things together. I'm designing the kit to house my audio mix, the audio and the video switcher. We've got a few other bits and bobs that I need to purchase, but it's getting there. We're getting there. And I know there's a lot that I can't speak on just now, but I've had really good conversations behind the scenes with different representatives, let's say, of people representing cool companies or organizations. And I'm hoping that will open new doors for me in terms of some of the opportunities I'll be a part of. And then that means we'll have some really cool streams, right? And hopefully I'll share a lot more of that with you guys soon. And then, of course, I'm talking about the IRL live streaming. So I'm hoping one of these upcoming trips in March or April, I might be ready by then to actually start testing out this IRL live stream concept. It's either going to be in Africa. Yeah, most likely in Africa. So, yo, what's happening, L Thing? L Thing says first on Twitch. Well, technically, I've been streaming for quite some time today. How long have we been streaming? I want to say like 3 hours. 3.5 hours. Yeah, I've been averaging around 3.5 hours.
Happy birthday to Pokemon.
Elle says happy birthday to Pokemon. Is that a thing? What do you mean?
Happy birthday to Pokemon.
Did I miss something? Is today Pokemon's birthday? Feels weird to say that. Yes, today, Feb 27, is officially Pokemon Day. How did I not know this? Marking the anniversary of the release of Pokemon Red and Green. There's a Pokemon Green? When did this happen? Wait, did I not know this? I knew Pokemon Red and Blue, and then there was Yellow, Pokemon Yellow. There was a Green? Oh no, I didn't know. It's a recognized annual holiday for fans to celebrate the franchise. Okay. This date marks the 30th anniversary. I did see there was some kind of crazy Pokemon Lego thing. Like a Pokemon Lego set. I was kind of on the verge. I really wanted to buy this. Where was it? Lego. Let's see. Yeah, this guy. This Pikachu and Pokeball. How crazy is this? But it costs like basically over 250 bucks. I was like, is it really? Am I really about to spend that kind of money on something that my cats are going to destroy in like 5 seconds? But look how cool this is. Look how cute that is. Yeah, I was very tempted. I eventually chose not to, but you know, it took a lot out of me to say no to that. Cat and Candle. Yo, what's happening? Cat and Candle's in the stream saying, anyone getting Pokopia game, the Animal Crossing Minecraft-like game. What the heck? The Pikachu with the stick up his ass? I mean, you gotta generate that spark somehow, L. What is this Pokopia? Pokopia. Pokemon Pokopia. Oh, it's on the Switch. I technically have a Switch. It's just collecting dust. Should I? I don't have enough time. I can't afford to do that. I have to. Elle says, "Hey, cat," and Cat says, "Hey, back at ya." Let's say hey to my cats while we're at it. We got Nala chilling over here, and we got Kimbap over there. Hello, guys. Hey, Elle and Cat. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Elle, I feel like it's been a while. Hopefully you are doing well as well. A lot of wells today. Cat and Candle with the epic emotes, man. Did you make this yourself? Man, anytime I see some cat emotes, I'm having a blast. I have my very own, by the way. Cat and Candle, are you streaming today? Or because I was actually getting ready to start winding down. It's almost 11 p.m. my time. And I need to get in the habit of always trying to properly raid people as we go. Cat and Candle says, yeah, streaming, working, and lurking. That's a triple combo effect. Cat and Candle, if you don't mind, I will then give you a raid, okay? So let's go ahead and start to set that up. I'm going to hit that start raid button. But yeah, as we're winding down, again, thanks guys. Today was a good stream. As always, every stream has been very, very good. Slightly productive. Today, we had some good conversation at the beginning of the stream. I will say, I like these kind of things. I like talking about more philosophical or existential kind of things. So we are all doomed to get destroyed by AI. That's basically what we concluded. But no, it was fun stuff. I mentioned also that... oh yeah. I have, like I said, if you want to support the channel, I am posting videos on YouTube regularly now. So anytime you see it, I hope that you'll check it out, watch it, give it a like, make sure to subscribe, maybe put a comment in the video. All of those things help me quite a bit. So if you ever want to figure out how to support me as a content creator, streamer, or whatever, obviously money helps. You know, you can just open up your wallet and, you know, put out whatever's in there into my pockets. But more realistically, your views, watching my streams or commenting, chatting, all of that goes a super long way to hopefully being a more proper professional streamer and one that grows. So those are things, if you want to help me, check out my YouTube channel. That's where a lot of it is. Don't use AI a lot. I use it all the time. All right, now let's go ahead and start off the raid over to Cat and Candle for those of you on Twitch, and I will start winding down elsewhere. Thank you guys. Thank you, my YouTubers, my YouTube viewers, community, as well as that Kick guy, you know, Skull. Thank you very much. All right, cheers.